Wow. I mean, there was orange everywhere.
I think there's a mystique that goes along with Mile High.
This stadium is made for football, and it doesn't get any better than this.
The miracle has happened. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl.
All of a sudden, we're the Orange Crest defense, and it just exploded that year.
Very smart, very quick, extremely aggressive, confident unit.
The biggest thing is everybody on that defense was a hitter.
Get down, Denver. Going to the Super Bowl.
And now we're going to play the dreaded, the hated Oakland Raiders, the silver and black monsters or whatever the hell they are.
Morton is back, throwing the pass for Moses at the 50, the 45.
If there was a bigger moment in the game, I don't know what it was.
Into the end zone. Touchdown.
Game over, and looking out on that field and seeing our fans on that field was probably as good a moment as I've ever had in football.
Everybody remembers that game. It snowed so hard. I've never seen so much snow.
That's probably one of the weirdest games I ever played in.
Packers will start moving from right to left, from south to north. Packers handing the ball off for a loss, and it's picked up on the bounce on the fumble, and it'll be a touchdown for the Broncos on the first play.
I remember Tom Jackson in the huddle talking about, just, they're going to fumble again, Bill at that ball, we're going to rip that ball out of there, And so I was kind of like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
This time the handoff is to Clark, and he drives to the right side across the 25, out near the 28, another fumble. This one's picked up on the far side and returned by Louis Wright.
We end up scoring the first 2 plays of the game, on defense.
Everybody else put it on me that we lost the game because of Ernest Biner.
It was just one of those wild games. We got up, we had the momentum.
Yeah, and then they made an unbelievable comeback, and it looked like the game was going to be tied.
38-31 Denver, 2nd and 5 at the 8 for the Browns with 1:12 to go. Those are the Biner trying to slip left at the 5.
So as I'm going to meet Lilly, I pull the ball in, trying to protect it.
He's at the goal line. Biner loses the ball.
Bam, lo and behold, bam, ball's out.
Denver recovers the fumble.
Everything just really went out of me. I was done. It was eating at me for a couple of years. I didn't really go ahead and push it to the side and say, hey, man, you were tripping over that? What was wrong with you? You were really weak to let that control you.
And I can't think of a guy you want at the helm other than Elway in situations like this.
We only needed a field goal, and plus we didn't have any timeouts.
The pressure wasn't on him on being on the 2. The pressure was on us because he had so much time to score, and Elway was just a master of that.
Being chased, here's Elway, first down at the 35-yard line.
The second 4th down is what I had a problem with. I mean, that's one thing that's haunted me my entire career.
Runs up out of the pocket, lets the pass go, it's caught. Johnson to the 40, 35, 30, 25, and on a bounce at the 21-yard line of the Oilers.
And this time, instead of letting me run the ball, the cornerback came up, and Vance Johnson, snuck behind him, and I dumped the ball over his head.
Here's the snap. The kick is good! Broncos lead 26-24.
Snap a little high. Elam's kick. It's a line drive. It's got enough distance. It is 63 yards! Holy mackerel!
I pretty much knew it was going to be my last game, but I wasn't focusing on that.
And I said, hey, it would be great you to just circle the field. And he looked at me like I was half crazy. I said, no, I think it'd be kind of special.
I love you!
I'm going to miss the intimacy of that stadium.
The fans are the best, and that's what makes Mile High so special.
Nothing to compare to Mile High.
The character that goes along that stadium, I don't think will ever be matched again.
Strong memories indeed, and Brian Greasy is coming back from a 3rd-degree separation, something that you've experienced, TV. How difficult?
Well, the first part of the game will be very difficult because they'd be nervous about landing on it, but after that, after maybe 2nd quarter, maybe 3rd quarter, he'll settle down and should play well. And one thing going for him today, he's going against the 31st ranked pass defense and the 49ers. That's going to help him an awfully lot.
Well, the thing, I look back at Mile High Stadium, and it's funny, I see Tom Jackson on there, and he's such a polished guy on television, but
he looks nothing now like the guy that used to be a thorn in the Raiders' side. Tom Jackson could have 14 average games and play his rear end off versus the Raiders, an extremely intense linebacker at the outside linebacker position, tremendous competitor, and of course chasing John Elway around. What a nightmare.
Were you in shape?
Well, you were after you left there. It was the most difficult place to play, not only from a fan standpoint, but from the air, the lack of air. You're basically playing at a ski resort. And that Denver Bronco team this year has done more to overcome adversity, losing both their starting running backs, Orlandis Gary, and of course now Mike Anderson steps in, and Terrell Davis, and it's remarkable what Greasy has done. And the consistent with that team really has been the offensive line and Alex Gibbs, and there's rumor that he might be stepping down. I competed against him a number of years, quite simply the best offensive line in football, and if they lose him, they will take a dip.
You know, you busted my chops last time. I coined a new word, unbelievable, and this is what you said, but I won't mess with you on national TV. All right, folks, Minnesota and St. Louis has some outstanding receivers, but this year the best wide receiver, Rod Smith, leads the NFL in receivers.
The playoff-bound Denver Broncos are ready to take the field for the final regular season game in the history of Mile High Stadium.
And weak side linebacker for touchdown, 51, John Mobley. And middle linebacker from Tennessee, the big hitter, number 56.
On a glorious day in Denver, Colorado, it's a special edition of the NFL on Fox as the Denver Broncos, playoff bound, take on the San Francisco 49ers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the NFL on Fox. I'm Sam Rosen along with Bill Moss. Happy holidays to you all. This is an exciting day here in Denver, the final regular season game of in Mile High Stadium. But for the Broncos, they want to get on track heading for the playoffs. Brian Greasy is back. They want to get him ready.
You know, Sam, I think Mike Shanahan has a dilemma, really, because he has to do a lot of things. First of all, he has to win. You know, it's a big day here. You're closing the stadium. You want to have a win. And then secondly, you want to see where your team's psyche's at. I mean, they got throttled last week in Kansas City. Then on top of that, you're bringing Brian Greasy back into the fold. Brian Greasy's had that separated shoulder out for 5 weeks. He needs surgery on it after the season. And he told me, he says, he can't take a hit to that shoulder into the ground. Well, there's not many quarterbacks that play this game that don't get driven into the ground.
The San Francisco 49ers come in with a 6-9 record. They've won 4 of their last 5. This is their playoff game. They want to beat a winning team.
And that's the whole thing about it. You know, Jeff Garcia's had a fantastic season, thrown for over 4,000 yards, and this was a guy that was just a Band-Aid for the quarterback position last year. He's come on, he's taken over the offense, he's learned, and he's progressed. But all that means nothing unless you win. You want to win, you want to go home for Christmas, you want your Christmas turkey to taste like turkey, not liverwurst, Sam.
Great memories here at Mile High Stadium. The memories will continue today. How about the first playoff game the Broncos ever played? It was in this stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A seesaw battle, and then in the fourth quarter, Tom Jackson with 2 interceptions. And the defense shut down the Steelers. The Broncos won it 34-21.
There's so many great, the first win there, you know, as I said earlier, with the Raiders, the great comebacks that we had, the snow game, you know, all of those things. I just think that's one of the great football places I've ever been, and I've been fortunate to be with Dallas and New York, you know, and be in some great stadiums, but nothing to compare to Mile High.
And moments ago, 76,000 strong, 250th consecutive sellout, singing our national anthem. And in the background is the new stadium, and now the coin toss with referee Tony Corrente.
Mr. Mayor, you have a coin for me. Thank you. Captains from San Francisco, who will call the toss? Heads. Number 65. You want to do heads and tails? You call heads? Yes. Number 65 calls heads. It is heads. They want football? San Francisco has won the toss, elected to receive.
That's Denver Mayor Wellington Webb, who presented the coin at the coin toss. The 49ers will receive.
Also in charge of getting that coin for that new stadium.
That's right.
Done a fantastic job of getting 3 new stadiums in the Denver area over the last few years.
And there is the new stadium that will open next season, and it will seat exactly 2 more people than fit into Mile High. 76,125.
Looks a lot bigger.
Now the Broncos are 10-5. They're still hoping to win the AFC West. They need a win today. They need the Raiders to lose tomorrow against Carolina in order to win the AFC West. They can finish as high as the number 2 seed if the Raiders and Miami also lose tomorrow and the Broncos win today. Keith Burns getting the crowd up.
Pointing to that south end zone, too.
Bill,
the
stands are shaking.
Yeah. I think the whole field's shaking.
Did you feel this as a player?
Yeah, you could. When you stood down there in the field and they got going, everything vibrated.
And what a perfect day. The 49ers kept telling us on the phone the other day, we're expecting blizzard conditions. No, it's 45 degrees and brilliant sunshine. Jonas Lewis on the near side. Kevin Williams on the far side. Steve Lindsay to kick off for Denver. And the final regular season game at Mile High is underway. Jonas Lewis goes back and decides to stay in the end zone from directions from Kevin Williams. For the 49ers, Jeff Garcia going to the Pro Bowl. Look at the numbers on him. Nearly 4,100 passing yards. A reconstructed offensive line with Tyrone Hobson in at right guard and Matt Willig at left tackle because of injuries. Derek Deese is out and Dave Fiore out. Great running back Charlie Garner. Fred Beasley the fullback. Owens and Rice the wide receivers. Maybe the last game in a 49ers uniform for Jerry Rice. The crowd is loud. Blitz coming on first down. Charlie Garner carries, loss of maybe 2 on the play. Keith Traylor with a tackle on Charlie Garner. The Broncos on defense. Trevor Price is going to the Pro Bowl. Kavika Pittman has played well. The linebackers, former 49er, Bill Romanowski's had a war of words with them. John Mobley playing with a broken thumb. Buckley and Spencer, the cornerbacks. Brown and Jenkins are the safeties. Mike Shanahan, see his regular season record at Mile High. Play fake by Garcia. Under pressure. He throws and completes to J.J. Stokes. Up to the 39 for a first down. Stokes was the forgotten man last week, with Owens setting the NFL record and Jerry Rice having the big day.
Well, you know, the Denver defense is 31st in pass coverage. Here they are man-to-man outside. And that little move there by Stokes, a little plant fake, freezes Buckley, and he comes back across the field, and Buckley never made up the ground. That's one thing you're going to see Denver do today, is play more man defense in their secondary and make Garcia find the opening.
Charlie Garner in motion. Short drop by Garcia. Out for Garner, and he missed him. 2 excellent receivers out of the backfield in Charlie Garner and Fred Beasley.
How about this guy, Sam? Jeff Garcia.
Fabulous story.
It's absolutely amazing. Last year, there's not anybody in football, including the 49ers, their coaching staff and front office, that thought this guy would be the answer, that he could have the year that he's had this year. They went out and drafted 2 young quarterbacks. They brought in Rick Meyer. They were looking for help, not believing this guy could get it done.
4 wide receivers in. Garcia out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. The handoff inside. Garner slips one, but Ray Crockett takes him down. Crockett is coming back from a hamstring injury, his 2nd game back. They want to get him in playoff shape as well.
Well, you know, they've been very aggressive up front. I'm talking about they. Watch the guys coming inside here. That's an all-out blitz. Crockett's in there. there filling. He's a corner, and he can't. So if he's in the backfield, he's not reading on support. He's in there as a blitz. These guys, the Denver Broncos defense, needs to step up. They're 29th overall in defense in the National Football League. They're into the playoffs. Just like in 1997, they need to get this defense back up into a championship defense for the playoffs.
3 wide receivers, 2 backs for the 49ers on 3rd down. Garcia has time, drops it off to Jerry Rice. 225th consecutive game in which Jerry Rice has caught a pass, but he comes up short of a 1st down, and the 49ers will be forced to punt. Only the 2nd game that Jerry Rice has played regular season in Mile High Stadium. The other one in 1985. Delta O'Neill is back deep. Standing at about his own 12-yard line. Chad Stanley to punt for the 49ers. Just got it away. Wobbly kick. Bounces down at the 23. O'Neill takes it at the 16 and hit immediately. Good coverage on the play by Jason Moore. Just signed off the practice squad. Makes the tackle on a 41-yard punt. The Broncos go on offense when we come back. Top Mile High Stadium. John Elway wanted Bucky when they take the stadium down, but no, Bucky's going across the way to the new stadium. There's John on the sideline. Tom Jackson is there as well. Broncos from the 16 with Eddie McCaffrey in motion. Brian Greasy handing off to Mike Anderson. Ripped through the line up to the 29-yard line. What a story Mike Anderson has been. Rushing for over 1,400 yards this season.
Take a look at this offensive line up front. Howie Long was talking about it in the pregame show. The job that Alex Gibbs does with these guys, whoever they plug in there. It's a read situation. It's zone blocking up front. Mike Anderson reads to see where the opening comes off the guard or tackle and plummets his head downfield.
Picks up 13 for a 1st down. Greasy checking off. Anderson and Griffith in the backfield. Anderson carries. And the 49ers stop him for no gain. Brenson Buckner on the tackle. Brian Greasy, despite missing 5 games, is going to the Pro Bowl. He's the leading passer-rated quarterback in the NFL. Offensive line has been solid. Tom Nalen is going to the Pro Bowl. The wide receivers, the best tandem in the NFL, Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. Mike Anderson has stepped in for Terrell Davis. Howard Griffith, strong fullback, and they've got some excellent tight ends.
Empty. Moving back in.
Anderson comes back. Greasy, first pass. Short, complete to Rod Smith. Up to the 38-yard line, about a yard short of a 1st down. Rod Smith leads the NFL in receiving yardage and is 3rd in receptions. That's his 93rd catch of the season.
You know, this young secondary for the San Francisco 49ers, it's a real test for them today. They've been getting better and better as the year has gone on. And there's 4 guys back there, and 3 of them are in their 1st year, and they've got to play McCaffrey and Rod Smith, who are excellent, Sam, at working the field and finding openings.
Here's 3rd and 1. Anderson cuts inside, has got the 1st down up close to the 40-yard line. Mike Anderson, the former Marine, taking over for the injured Terrell Davis, and has had a terrific season.
You know, and I don't think it's any secret. You know, everyone says, well, you know, they're lucky. They brought these guys in, 3 6th-round draft choices at running back, and they just stumbled on the guy. It's no secret to why the Denver Broncos are successful at running the football. They are #1 in the NFL in running the football since Mike Shanahan has come to Denver.
2 tight ends in, everybody out, the blitz on, and a completion to McCaffrey, who reached back to get it and is taken down on the play by the rookie Ahmed Plummer. Nice grab by Eddie McCaffrey.
Yeah, and Greasy, look, he got knocked down to the ground. He's not feeling well at all. He's hurt.
49ers on defense. Rookie John Engelberger has played well. Brian Young strong in the middle as usual. The leading tackler is Winford Tubbs. Julian Peterson coming on strong, the 1st-round draft pick. Youngsters in the secondary, Plummer, Hurd, and Webster. The veteran is Zach Bronson. And here's Brian Greasy, still on 1 knee.
Well, we talked about it, Sam. There's not many quarterbacks that can get in the pocket. He's going to get hit right after the play. And it's that right shoulder. Preston Buckner, and he's trying to avoid it, and he gets drilled right into the ground. He said that's the one hit right there that he couldn't take in the game. He said, I'm going to try to avoid everything I can. If I'm falling or getting driven down, I'm going to try to wiggle around and fall on my back or anything else, but not that right shoulder into the ground.
He's been out for 5 weeks. The shoulder is still basically dislocated. It won't be right until he has off-season surgery. He's trying to get through, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. He's coming off, and Gus Frerotte will come on.
Lenny Friedman lets Preston Buckner go right by him, and just their offensive line was concerned about it too. You can see the look on his face, and they were concerned about not getting him hit. Preston Buckner got on the outside shoulder of Lenny Friedman, and
ball at the 45, 2nd and 5 for the Broncos. Gus Frerotte was 4-1, replacing Brian Greasy. Anderson carries up close to the 49-yard line.
Now Greasy got these shoulder pads built up real high this week on here. They're up high. You can see how high they are up on his helmet, and that padding is up there, but that doesn't make any difference because the hit is not going to come from up top. The hit's going to be his shoulder getting drilled into the turf.
3rd and 1 for the Broncos. They go 2 tight ends, and they split the tight ends wide. Anderson goes in motion. Frerotte rolling and throwing. It's tipped and incomplete.
Winfred Tubbs, 55, coming on the outside. Sam, the linebacker, jumped at the line of scrimmage just as Gus Frerotte threw that. Changed the direction of the ball.
Good job by the 49ers, and the Broncos are forced to punt. Kevin Williams back deep. Tom Ruin to punt. '49ers do some moving around. Almost jumped offside. Ruin's kick is a high one. Kevin Williams waves for a fair catch and takes it at the 20-yard line. 8:05 to go, first quarter. Each team has had the ball once and failed to do much with it. Back at Mile High right after this.
The Mile High Stadium, David Treadwell down on the sideline. Just a quick update on Brian Greasy. As you guys mentioned, that was the one hit he could not afford to take. He tried to throw on the sideline. He threw the ball down in disgust. He's in a lot of pain right now, guys. Back up to you.
Thanks, David. Former place kicker of the Broncos, David Treadwell, working the sidelines for us. Charlie Garner with a 2-yard pickup on first down. Keith Traylor making the stop. On Charlie Garner has rushed for over 1,100 yards this season.
Well, Traylor is a stout guy in the middle. You're going to watch 94 right in here, and he's playing over a rookie, Tyrone Hobson, getting his first. Watch him split the double team and come off it and then close. That's 2 men, Sam, trying to block Keith Traylor, and they get about a half a yard on him, and then he splits him and comes off and makes a play, and that's what he excels at.
That's one of your guys. Charlie Garner splits out to the right side. Fred Beasley, the lone setback. Garcia gets time and throws a little too high. Jerry Rice went up, just missed. Ray Crockett was covering him on the play.
Well, that's that tight coverage that Denver wants to play on the wide receivers of the 49ers. And they're going to make Garcia throw an accurate ball because he's used to seeing zone defenses and wide open receivers on crossing routes. When they're matched up, that separation's real tight.
Jerry Rice, maybe his last game as a 49er. I think everybody would like to see him come back, but it looks like he'll go free agent because of the salary cap situation. He wants to play a couple more years, thinks he can play very well. Garcia, nobody open, dancing around, finally finds Fred Beasley. And Beasley gets up to the 30-yard line, close to the first down marker. Knocked down by Ian Gold, number 52. Gold, a rookie out of Michigan, has done a good job. The 49ers come up a yard short of the first down, and Chad Stanley is back for his second punt of the game. Just got it away. Broncos getting close. High kick. O'Neal lets it bounce, and it actually goes out of bounds around the 35-yard line. The Broncos take over. with no score in the game, and the fans at Mile High having a great time. At Mile High Stadium, like the AFC Championship game in the 1977 playoffs. A close, tough game, but Craig Morton threw 2 touchdown passes to Haven Moses. And the Broncos defeated the defending champion Oakland Raiders and advanced to the Super Bowl.
I was a huge Broncos fan.
Were you?
Oh, 77, the Orange Crush. I loved it.
Craig Morton was the quarterback then. The quarterback now is Gus Frerotte, replacing the injured Brian Griese. Howard Griffith in motion. Blitz coming. Frerotte avoids it and runs. Good gain for Gus Frerotte. Slides up to the 39-yard line. Close to the first down marker. Blitz from Kenny Norton up the middle.
Well, that's pretty good awareness of Gus Frerotte on the part of... I want you to watch. They motion outside. It takes Julian Peterson out, and then they come with the blitz right in here. Gus Frerotte high steps the blitz. He's responsible for that right there. And then it opens up. Now watch the opening after the blitz. There's an opening. There's the passing lane, but there's nobody downfield, so he takes it himself.
Inches short of a first down.
Frustrating if you're a defensive player, but it really bails you out of a problem if you're an offensive guy.
Frerotte decides to call a timeout as he looked over the defense. Comes to the sideline to talk to Mike Shanahan. No score in the game at Mile High. Back at Mile High Stadium on a beautiful day. 45 degrees at game time. Bright sunshine. Mike Anderson and Howard Griffith in the backfield on second and less than a yard. Anderson trying to push the pile, but the pile pushes him back. And he may have gotten enough, just enough for a first down. Bryant Young and Brenson Buckner leading the way on defense. 49ers have a young defense, don't they, Bill?
Well, look at all the guys. All those guys start. That's 5 guys, and that was an area last year that really killed San Francisco, was the defensive side of the ball. So, you know what? They didn't waste any time. They went out, they hit the road right after the season. They scouted guys, and they brought in what they feel was a great class. They love what they have here on defense. And, you know, Jim Mora has done a good job of getting them ready to go.
Came up short. It's still third and half a yard. The toss to Anderson. Gets a block and gets more than a first down. He goes into 49ers territory, out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Nice run by Mike Anderson.
Well, one thing the Broncos do, watch the block they get right here. Bang, right there. That's Rod Smith, the wide receiver, that comes in on Chico Kiefer. That's a wide receiver, Sam, coming down in and blocking the defensive end, and that seals that side and gets the ball outside. And, you know, you talk about that running game and why it's no secret. It's because everybody is involved in it. The offensive line, the wide receivers, everybody does their job, the tight ends.
6 carries, 33 yards for Mike Anderson. The toss to Anderson. He's got another block. That's Tony Jones leading the way. Anderson at the 20-yard line. Zach Bronson chased him out, but Mike Anderson, the 27-year-old rookie, doing the job.
Well, they get this little pitch outside, but watch where they have everybody. There's the wide receivers. He takes Webster inside, then blocks him. He comes off like he's running a route. The corner stays with him, and then he turns and blocks him downfield. They get the pitch to the corner. They lead Tony Jones outside. Everybody's involved in it.
Anderson comes out. Karan Coleman, first-year man out of Stephen F. Austin, is in the backfield. Griffith shifts. Coleman carries. Gets a couple of yards to the 18-yard line. Cedric Killings, another rookie. We saw the rookie starters, but they use as many as 7 rookies. Cedric Killings, the rookie out of Carson Newman, number 71, made the tackle. So Steve Mariucci using a lot of the young players, and he told us yesterday that he plans to look for defensive players in the draft again this year.
You know, he'll go out and get a defensive end, probably another rush guy to go on the left side where Anthony Pleasant's been. They've got Engelberger this year, and he'll develop, and he'll keep getting better.
McCaffrey in motion. Off the play fake, Frerotte has time, looking and throwing for McCaffrey, incomplete. Covered by Jason Webster. Another rookie, the second-round draft pick out of Texas A&M.
Pretty good coverage downfield. Now watch. I want you to watch the safeties getting nosy in here. See him coming up because of that play action pass? Zach Bronson remains deep at the free safety position. This was Jason Webster right here. Pretty good coverage of staying with McCaffrey. But they had Ronnie Hurd, 38, the strong safety, down around the box because they've been getting pounded. So they're dropping that safety down, and Denver wanted to take their shot.
Empty backfield for the 49ers. Now shifting back in was Byron Chamberlain, the tight end. Farrat being rushed. Down he goes at the 25-yard line. Chike O'Keefer was there to make the tackle.
All 4 of the defensive linemen got there. Pretty good coverage downfield by the young corners. You know, they're playing a lot more man in the last couple weeks and letting their athletic ability play and take care of these guys. And that was good enough coverage. That's a coverage sack. They only brought 4 defensive linemen. There was no blitz on that, Sam. They just collapsed the pocket.
41-yard field goal try for Jason Elam, and it is no good. No good. Elam missing wide. So the 49ers defense stiffens in the red zone, and the Broncos are kept off the board. This stadium has been sold out. 76,123 packing in Mile High. Great stadium to watch a ball game.
You know, a lot of it is too, Sam. A lot of those years weren't great years. You know, they had their down times too, and this place remains sold out, and these fans remain dedicated.
4 wide receivers for the 49ers, 3 to the right side. Stokes in motion. Garcia gets time for Terrell Owens, and it's off his hands, incomplete. Well, one of the former Broncos is with us today working the sidelines. David Treadwell, what are your thoughts?
Hey, guys, this is a very memorable place for me as well. As you mentioned, the fans are what make this place different. I had a great moment here kicking a field goal at the end of a Houston game in the divisional playoffs, so very special memories for me as well.
It's one of the great memories for John Elway as he talked to us about that. Garner and Beasley in the backfield. 2nd and 10 for the 49ers from their own 31. Everybody out. Garcia throws and completes to Terrell Owens across midfield. It's a first down. What a game this man has. It's the passing of the torch. Terrell Owens taking over as the top receiver, set an NFL record last week, a record that had stood for 50 years. Tom Fears with the most receptions in a game, 18. Last week on Jerry Rice Day, Terrell Owens had 20 receptions. 283 yards against the Chicago Bears. First down 49ers at the Broncos 49. Play fake, Garcia fires over the middle through the hands of Greg Clark, the tight end. Behind Clark, about 5 yards behind him, was Terrell Owens cutting across. It might have been for him.
You know, this is what Garcia's done all year long so well, is buy himself time in the pocket. Now watch him, Sam. Here's a little play action. Now watch the pocket. Now watch it when it starts to collapse on him here. He buys himself time by maneuvering, just that little maneuverability in the pocket to buy himself that extra second or two to find somebody downfield. Look at that right there. That time sacked, only 19. That's not very many. But he's been hurried a lot too. But his completion rate and his yards are up because he's hurried, but he gets the ball off.
Jerry Rice on the fake of the end around. Garcia rolling and throws to Charlie Garner, who dropped it and then gets hit by Billy Jenkins. Looked like an unnecessary hit to me.
You know what? But Charlie Garner doesn't care because that's not what he's thinking about. That drop hurts him more than the hit Billy Jenkins gave him. Trevor Price on the ground.
Yeah. The Pro Bowler shaken up on the play. Mike Shanahan, who's done a great job bringing this team back from a 6-10 season last year. They were 4-4, and the pressure was on. And then the Broncos won 6 straight to clinch a playoff spot.
This year, I mean, you talked about last year. What about this year? He did that when you lose your running back, you lose your starting quarterback. But it's that offensive system that they work so well. And you put another piece in and you go, and the whole machine kind of works. Here's Trevor Price. And there's that cut, which the San Francisco 49ers offensive line is notorious for.
Brian Greasy is on the bench as Price is trying to walk it off. He's got a jammed shoulder, return questionable. Harold Hasselback has replaced Trevor Price. 3rd and 10 for the 49ers. Owens in motion. Everybody out. Garcia drops it off to Charlie Garner. Down short of a first down. And Ian Gold again with an excellent play. Bill Romanowski was there as well.
Oh, did Ian Gold and Romo close on that thing. Charlie Garner came underneath the linebackers, and as soon as that ball was thrown, those two guys just converged on the ball and got there as fast as the ball did. Garner, once he turned around and caught it, he had nowhere to go.
3rd punt for Chad Stanley. Delta O'Neill is back, standing at around his own 10. Broncos have come close to blocking the punt. This time, a good high kick is out of bounds around the 10-yard line. Well, this is the start of the final regular season weekend, and we've got a great day tomorrow. It starts with a pregame show. The Terry Award winners will be handed out, and then it's a Fox Sunday doubleheader. 3 top games there. The early games, all playoff implications. Then Minnesota, Indianapolis, Oakland, all playoff considerations in those games.
A bunch of them. That NFC, it comes down to this. If Detroit wins, then it's over. They're in, and then St. Louis and Green Bay are out. They don't have a shot. Now, if Chicago goes up there to Detroit and beats them up there, then they're still alive.
Rod Smith in motion on first down from the 10. Mike Anderson bounces it outside. Picks up about 6 on the play. Taken down at the 16-yard line. What a story Mike Anderson has been. Went to the Marines out of high school, and his Marine coach encouraged him to go to college and play a couple of years junior college, and then went to Utah for 2 years.
He never played high school football, Sam. He was a drummer. 10 years ago, he was banging the drum. Now he's banging DBs as soon as he gets past the line of scrimmage. And he talks about it. He says he's at home. There's Terrell Davis, the guy that Mike Anderson replaced. He says he goes at home at night. He says, I have over 1,400 yards in the NFL.
He's getting close to 1,500. That time he slipped, and it's a loss on the play. Terrell Davis is still on the active roster. He has a stress fracture in his leg, and they're hoping that if they go far in the playoffs, that maybe with a couple of more weeks, the stress fracture will heal, and maybe he can play deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that's more wishful thinking than anything else. I think that's wishful on the organization, and it's probably wishful thinking on his part as well.
Have to get to the 20 for a first down. It's 3rd and 5. Everybody out. Pressure on Farrat. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. Was hit as he threw.
Flag.
Couple of flags go down. McCaffrey was asking for one, and a holding on the 49ers will give the Broncos an automatic first down.
Yeah, the back judge threw that from all the way deep in the center of the field.
Holding, defense number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ahmed Plummer is called for the hold. So it's a first down for the Broncos at the 20-yard line. In what looks to be the last play of the first quarter. Brenson Buckner gets to the line a little late for the 49ers. Rod Smith in motion. Anderson. Short pickup on the play. And we have come to the end of the first quarter. Defense, which neither team is particularly noted for, has done well. There's no score. End of 1 at Mile High. Mile High Stadium, no score end of the first quarter, but the big story for the Denver Broncos, they gambled by playing Brian Greasy. Looks like they lost as he gets injured again.
You know, and you look at Gus Frerott's numbers. I mean, he's only completed 1 ball out there, and you know, he didn't get many of the reps in practice this week. They're trying to get Greasy ready from being away from the game so long.
On second down, Frerotte throws it, completes to Rod Smith, breaks 1 tackle, gets up to the 30-yard line, and a flag goes down. Maybe a late hit. Personal foul on the 49ers.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 93. Late hit after the play. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
The rookie John Milam called for the late hit.
We thought he was back at the bar he used to bounce at. Here's 93 closing in at the end of it. Oh, yeah. And the old elbow to the head.
So up to the 45 go the Broncos with Anderson and Griffith in the backfield and McCaffrey in motion. Anderson slicing across midfield into 49ers territory. Picked up about 6 on the play.
That offensive line up front, they're so fast. You know, everyone says they're only 280 pounds, but watch how fast they get to here. Now, Anderson is looking backside. He's waiting for a spot. He sees the opening, and then just, like I said, he just plummets forward. It's going to be there. It's going to open up. Everyone talks about the size of the offensive linemen. They're all around 285 pounds. But when they step lateral, it is fast.
Spotted at midfield. 49ers showing blitz. The fake toss. Barat rolling and looking for the fullback Griffith. Almost intercepted. Good coverage on the play.
I think that was Julian Peterson, 98, that was running. But watch McCaffrey on the other side. He's downfield. He's open.
But Gus was rolling the other way.
Rolling right. Now, that's a long cross-field throw. But you have to know what's there. And the coverage by Julian Peterson on the fullback, Griffin, it was there. He was covered up pretty doggone good.
Peterson looks like he's going to be the star of this 49ers defense in the future. What do you think,
He
Bill?
is fast. He can cover in coverage, and he can turn the corner. He was the one that got the quarterback sack last series.
Everybody out. Barat in trouble. Throws, and it's knocked down. The flag on the play. Webster may have interfered with Rod Smith. That's the call. Another penalty on the 49ers.
Pass interference, defense number 36. Ball be spotted the foul, automatic, first down.
You understand, we talked about both these defenses are playing a lot of man coverage, and there's the matchup right there. Webster's outside, and he gets a piece of. Now he's got the hands again draped over his back. He made his initial contact, and then when the ball was in the air, he had that left arm draped over the back. And for the young guys playing that man-to-man defense, now you're up on them. You're up on the receiver, and you're going to make more body contact with them than you were playing the zone.
First down for the Broncos at the 45. Barat stepped back but didn't have the ball.
Well, Barat was the one that was offsides because he's the only one that moved. Hey, when you say 2, you can't go on 1.
False start. Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
And you can't hide that.
Well, you know, that's part of the thing. I mean, Barat didn't get any of the reps this week. He's thinking, you know. He's out there thinking, and he's saying he's seen a new defense that he hasn't practiced much for this week. He's calling the play. He's calling the snap down. He's reading the defense. He comes to the line of scrimmage.
First and 15 at midfield. Anderson and Griffith in the backfield. Barat going deep. Looking for McCaffrey, overthrown, and there's a flag on the play.
Ahmad Plummer made contact right about where that flag is on the field, right at about the 30-35-yard line. McCaffrey's just running a deep go route. And if you get that matchup outside on the young guys and you got man coverage, take your shot.
Pass interference, defense number 29. Automatic, first down.
Watch Ahmad Plummer right here, 29, and then he's going to make his contact. Look where he makes his contact. He tries to put his arm out and reroute McCaffrey about 20 yards deep.
Can't do it.
Absolutely not.
25-yard line is where they spot the ball on the penalty as the 49ers are hurting themselves with penalties. Scotty Montgomery, number 81, is in motion. Anderson carrying, ran into Winfred Tubbs, the leading tackler of the 49ers. Picked up about a yard on the play.
You know, Sam, one guy I love and have loved over the years for the Broncos has been the fullback, Howard Griffith. He is just, to me, I love the way he plays the game. Nobody even knows his name. And this guy has blocked for all three, boom, right there. He gets in on Tubbs, he gets his feet driving. Now, he didn't get many yards on that play right there, but that's all this guy does is bang heads with a linebacker and lineman, and everybody that's gotten 1,000 yards running over the years, he's been the common denominator.
He'll be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Farad throws too low. Intended for Rod Smith. Poorly thrown. It'll bring up a 3rd down.
No, that's like you know how they try to bounce hop at the first base in baseball players.
Short hop, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It was the one hopper.
But it doesn't count in football.
No, absolutely.
Farad's 1 for 5, 10 yards passing. So here's 3rd and 8 at the 23-yard line. 9th play of this drive for the Broncos. Again, Scotty Montgomery was in motion. Everybody out. Farad going deep. There's nobody out there.
You got to have a flag there. Yeah, you have to.
Rod Smith was held up inside the 10. Looked like Anthony Parker.
Sure was.
The local product from Thornton, Colorado. Just 15 minutes away.
You can't put your body in front of the receiver as he's running his route and just stand there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. Automatic. First down.
No, it wasn't 29. It was 26. 29 was on the right side. 26, it happened right there. That's where it happened. 29 was coming across, but it was Anthony Parker that just got his body just stuffed in front. All these yards for the Broncos aren't anything that they've done in this drive, but it's what San Francisco's given them.
5 penalties on this drive. 1st and goal from the 8-yard line for the Broncos. Anderson cuts it inside, gets down to about the 6-yard line. Combination of Brenson Buckner and Winford Tubbs on the tackle for the 49ers.
Well, Brenson Buckner, 99, and also Brian Young. These two guys kind of stay home on the backside in here. Watch them as this thing goes this way. Watch them stay backside on it. There, Brenson Buckner waiting, keeping his feet, and he wraps up and makes the tackle. That's pretty good play, and that's one area when you play the Broncos, the defensive tackles have got to be stout.
Anderson again. He stops. Oh, there's Bryant Young. Terrific play by Bryant Young.
Over the years watching this type of offense, both in San Francisco and with Denver and in Green Bay, 2 dominating defensive tackles can change the complexion of the run game for Denver Broncos. Last week, Kansas City did it to him with Chester McLaughlin. Getting that push upfield, it disrupts the whole timing of their zone scheme. And it makes them try to bounce things, and it's always too late, and it's no game.
Loss of 4. 3rd and goal. Karan Coleman is in the backfield. And now Farad steps out and takes a timeout.
Charge timeout.
So Farad will talk things over as the Broncos try to put points on the board.
The easy way to save.
We're up here way high in Mile High, and that's why they call it Mile High, Sam. And I'll tell you, playing here, I'm telling you, this is a home field advantage just to the altitude. You feel it out there as a player. You feel it when you get off the plane. And this defense for the 49ers been on the field a long time.
Karan Coleman in motion on 3rd and goal from the 10. Farad throws to Carswell, the tight end, down at the 2. Good play by Ahmad Plummer to stop Dwayne Carswell from getting into the end zone.
And Zach Bronson for coming in there and cleaning that thing up and make sure he didn't land that ball across the goal line.
Spot the ball just inside the 3-yard line, and Jason Elam will come out for his 2nd field goal try. He missed earlier from 41. This one will be 21. Tom Ruin, the holder. And the first points of the game are on the board. Jason Elam with a 21-yard field goal. Farad with his 2nd pass completion to the tight end, Dwayne Carswell. He tried to get in, but Ahmad Plummer wouldn't let him do it. Back-to-back on Fox. Steve Lindsay set to kick off. The Broncos with a 3-0 lead. Kevin Williams and Jonas Lewis are deep for the 49ers. Lewis backtracks to the 2. 2 yards deep in the end zone, and once again Kevin Williams says don't run it out. Some great memories here. That's Jason Elam, the place kicker of the Denver Broncos. And remember this one? 1998 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 63 yards to tie the record previously set by Tom Dempsey. David Treadwell down on the sideline. How was that for a place kick?
Guys, that is a shot to hit one. He's standing on the other side of the 50 when he tied the record for 63 yards. For me, I would have had to hit it twice and lay up to get there.
Thanks, David. From the 20, Garcia sends everybody out. The pass is incomplete, intended for Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice playing his 238th game for the 49ers and looks to be his last as a 49er. He's had 70 catches on the season, a good year.
It's been a great year for him. You know, that's going to be a tough dilemma for him. He wants to be the go-to guy. He wants to go to a team and be the go-to guy. There's not many teams out there that don't have a go-to guy. Plus, you'd want a system that you're familiar with. Denver may be a possibility, but they got two pretty good receivers.
On 2nd and 10. Oh, great tackle in the backfield. Kavika Pittman.
He has really played well this year, Sam. He came up from Dallas, and when he was down in Dallas, he just didn't do much down there. I think he had a lot of pressure on him. There he is, just blowing upfield from the end position and making a wrap up. He had a lot of pressure on him to become the next Charles Haley down there.
Likes to stand up a lot, doesn't he, Bill?
Well, he gets on that out. That's how he patrols that edge. Now, he stood up in Dallas, and he feels comfortable doing that over there. But he's really played well. He's missed 2 games. And he's getting better. He could be a Pro Bowl end in this league.
Have to get to the 30 for a first down. The rush from Crockett. Garcia almost went down. Now he does. Finished off by Bill Romanowski.
Romo. He's giving the business to the South Stand down there, getting them pumped up.
He's never missed a game. He plays hard.
There's Romo to the right of your screen. He comes in, but here's the blitz Crockett off the outside. So the back has to step up. Charlie Gardner has to step up and take on Romo, and then Crockett comes clean from the slot position off the corner. Then they finish it up.
3rd sack of the game for the Broncos. Good high kick by Chad Stanley. Taken by Delta O'Neal. O'Neal across midfield, bounces off, and he goes down in 49ers territory, the midfield line. Romanowski, it was the 1st sack of the game for the Broncos. 3rd for Romanowski this season. Ahmad Plummer, the rookie out of Ohio State. That time, no interference.
Well, you know, they had that play action again. The linebackers came up, and then you had the one-on-one outside. And that's where they want to try. Coming into the game, Sam, they wanted to get both their receivers 100 catches.
Yeah.
Smith and McCaffrey. Teeter McCaffrey came in with 96 and 92 for Rod Smith. And the thought process was, let's get them catches. Let's get them both 100.
I think right now the thought process is let's win the game. Anderson for a couple of yards, close to the 46-yard line. Be an interesting dilemma for Mike Shanahan and the Broncos next season when Terrell Davis is back, Olandis Gary, who's missed the season with an injury, and Mike Anderson.
No, that's not interesting. That's a good dilemma for a coach. Yeah, well, you have a lot of options. I mean, it's probably not fair to all the players, but as a coach, you have to love something like that. You know, one of those guys, maybe a Mike Anderson, could be a fullback. I mean, he's a big guy, a rookie. He could put on 10, 15 pounds and be a lead blocker.
Empty backfield, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. Everybody split. Farad throws and completes for McCaffrey. Inside the 30. Wrestled down at the 22-yard line. The leading receiver in the NFL, Ed McCaffrey. 24-yard pickup.
Well, he's working over here. They're in a little clutter up here. Watch McCaffrey come inside off the little pit by Byron Chamberlain. And that's the separation he gets off of Monty Montgomery. And that's what that bunch formation does. When you go out from all different places and you scatter, there's going to be a pick in there, and on that pick, there's separation. And Cheeky O'Keefer, at the end of that, drives Gus Farad into the ground, and Gus got up slow.
McCaffrey now has 98 catches this season. Farad on first down, being rushed. Down he goes. Lost the football. A huge hit by Anthony Pleasant, and Farad is hurt. The 49ers think they've recovered the fumble. There's been no signal from the referee as yet. No, it's still Denver ball. The Broncos recovered. But now Farad is up, but shaken up on a big hit by Anthony Pleasant.
Well, here's Anthony Pleasant, number 94, right here on the outside, and nobody blocks him. He comes scot-free. The tight end releases on a pass route, and Lepsis never fans out. Neal fans out to that side, but Lepsis doesn't. And nobody picks up Pleasant, and that's not pleasant for your quarterback. You like that?
It works. So now, 2 quarterbacks hurt for the Denver Broncos. Jarius Jackson,
who got his
rookie
first
out of
playing
Notre
time.
Dame, is the 3rd quarterback.
He got his first playing time last week.
Has thrown 1 pass in the NFL.
You know,
Ryan Greasy's picking up his helmet. He wants to go back in.
Well, what they've got to do.
Greasy's coming back. Listen to the cheers. So jammed shoulder and all, Brian Greasy returns. You think he can still play?
I know he can.
John Elway looking from the sideline. Ball's back at the 25 on 2nd down. Handing it off to Karan Coleman. Gets it outside. Heading for the corner. Touchdown! Touchdown in the NFL career of Karan Coleman. Here's a memory for Mile High.
He'll be one of those young guys that carry that memory over into the new stadium.
5'7", 198, first-year man out of Stephen Austin. Elam's kick is good. 309 consecutive PATs for Jason Elam. Well, the injured Brian Greasy came in. His job, handed off to Karan Coleman. He takes it in, and the Broncos lead 10-0.
Vince, but watch the backside block of Tony Jones. He takes Engelberger down inside, washes him out, and then on the outside of that, we talked about the wide receiver blocking, that's Rod Smith. And Rod Smith takes Jason Webster right into Jason Kyle, the linebacker. That's a wide receiver, folks, blocking 2 people, and that's how come anybody can get back there and run the football for the Denver Broncos.
Great moment for Karan Coleman. Steve Lindsay kicks off. Jonas Lewis at the 2. First return for the 49ers. Lewis across the 20, down hard at the 22-yard line. Monte Rieger, number 99, with a tackle. February, big time for Fox. And
those cars are just cars without the drivers. The drivers are what makes them. It's kind of like this stadium. This stadium is just a stadium until the fans get here. And then this whole thing comes to life, and that's why it's a memory.
Garcia on the play fake, rolling in trouble, and it's incomplete. Big pressure on the play by Ma Tanuvasa. 49ers -7 yards rushing in this game. You see the numbers for San Francisco offensively. All 4 possessions winding up in punts. Garcia is 5 for 12 and has had 4 consecutive incompletions.
You know, for a guy that's been sacked the fewest times in the NFL, this Denver front sure is putting a lot of pressure on him.
Charlie Garner is split out to the left side. Terrell Owens in motion. Garcia under pressure again, going for Garner. Diving attempt, but it fell loose. There's a flag on the play. What an effort by Charlie Garner going against Eric Brown.
Boy, they were battling for that ball, Sam. They were running neck and neck, and they both laid out.
And it's against Eric Brown, the free safety.
Defense number 26. Automatic first down.
Here's the matchup outside. Now, that's the running back. Gardner walked all the way outside, so the safety has to take him. Oh, is that left arm he got right on the wrist of Charlie Garner at the very end of the play as he was looking back.
Into Broncos territory at the 49. Owens in motion. The play fake by Garcia. Has time and goes deep for Owens. Incomplete. Covered by Ray Crockett on the play. Terrell Owens, who came in to today's game second in the NFL in receptions with 94 after the record-setting game last week.
You know, and when you're playing the Denver Broncos, with or without the variety of weapons you had of wide receivers for San Francisco, you're tempted to test that secondary. They have struggled this year in yardage, but the one thing they have been able to do is they've been able to come up defensively with turnovers.
Garcia rolling, quick release. Charlie Garner slips and gets up, falls out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Charlie Garner, who's had a terrific year, going to his first Pro Bowl. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. He's caught over 60 passes. Been a heck of a year for Charlie Garner.
And, you know, that's a question in itself there, too. You talk about the 49ers, who's going to be there next year? What veterans are they going to keep? Who are they going to be able to keep with the money that they're over the cap with right now?
3rd and 4. Have to get to the 39. Short drop. Garcia in trouble. Dumps it off. Incomplete. Try to get it to Fred Beasley. Good pressure up the middle by the Broncos.
There's Kavika Pittman again. He got that pressure. He got the wrap up. And watch Garcia. He knows he's trapped. And he kind of, it's a jump pass. Remember the old jump pass they used to throw back in the old days? Watch this jump pass. He jumps and throws. And then he gets whacked by Pittman. Actually, remember, that's a little bit of Favre. Favre has that jump pass stuff.
Drops by the 49ers. They're going for it on 4th down. They have to get to the 39. 8 for 17 this season on 4th down. The stadium shaking. Garcia, flag on the play. The completion of Fred Beasley. It should be enough for a first down, but let's check out the flag. Looks like a hold. And it could be on Tyrone Hobson, who's replacing the injured Dave Fiore.
Well, they got a flag. We have a flag over here as well. The side judge threw a flag on Ray Crockett, I believe, because he threw it right at number 39 when he was tied up outside with the receiver. And then there's a flag back where the quarterback was.
All right. Tony Correnti holding against the 49ers, and the penalty against Denver.
Holding, offense, number 66. Illegal use of the hands, hands of the face, number 39 defense. These penalties offset. Replay, 4th down.
Here's 66, Hobson inside, and he gets beat right away. And he gets beat outside right away by Trevor Price, and he has to lock him up.
Ray Crockett, illegal use of the hands, the outside. Steve Mariucci looking on.
Price was giving him the business afterwards. You see that?
Beasley, the lone setback. The stadium rocking again. 4th down. Garcia, pressured. Rolling and throwing to Stokes for a first down inside the 30. Finding the big wide receiver, J.J. Stokes, who's upset with somebody.
Well, yeah, he's upset with Romo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Romo got right in the mix of that thing.
That goes back 3 years when Romanowski spit in the face of J.J. Stokes. And there was a war of words going on this week.
Here's Stokes. He has a crossing pattern, and he loses Romo underneath.
Big hit.
And then Romo finishes him off. And lets him know about it, too.
Afterwards.
You know, Romo will take you out of your game. And that's part of his game.
First down, 49ers at the 29. They've got 2 tight ends in. The toss to Beasley. Fights off one man and gets to the 26-yard line. Good stiff arm by Fred Beasley. as the 49ers get some plus yardage in the run game for a change. They haven't been able to run the ball well against a Denver defense that was torn apart by the running game of Kansas City last week.
Boy, they did. However, Tony Richardson went for over 150 on them.
Broncos bring in 6 defensive backs. 49ers have come from their 22 to the Denver 26. 3 wide receivers. Garcia under pressure, throwing for Jerry Rice, incomplete. Kavika Pittman with the pressure on Garcia, and the tempers are heating up. And Romanowski's got people upset at him.
You know what? He goes into every game trying to find a way to get mad.
Start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty remains second down.
That's Matt Willig, who's playing for the injured Derek Deese, who's inactive today. 6th penalty of the game for the 49ers. There's Bill Romanowski.
Well, you know, Romo's clapping his hands because he was a part of that. I mean, he played a big part in watching the jump. He's going to come from deep. He's not even in the picture, and he's going to come running up inside here. And Willig was the one that flinched outside.
Ball spotted back at the 31. Beasley and Garner in the backfield. Blitz coming. Garcia trying to get away. Everybody coming, and the pass is incomplete. Big hit by Bill Romanowski.
Hey, is he playing fired up or what?
Suddenly, he's got everybody going.
Quarterback was out of the pocket.
No intentional grounding, as you heard referee Tony Correnti say.
He comes on the blitz, but he frees up the inside. Keith Traylor got some pressure. Romo keeps his feet, and what a shot he gets on Jeff Garcia as Garcia was trying to unload that ball. I love the way he plays the game. He plays the game, to me, Sam, the way it's supposed to be played, with intense emotion.
You think he goes over the top a little bit sometimes?
I think he has at time, but anybody that ever plays this game does that.
4 wide receivers for the 49ers have to get to the 19 for a first down. Garcia in trouble, throws, almost intercepted. Terrell Buckley went up high, but couldn't get there as the pass was thrown too high for Jerry Rice.
Well, there was pressure again, and he had to get rid of that ball quick. And the ball was tipped. Kavika Pittman was in there with the pressure, and it looked like it almost hit his arm. Garcia had to stop the throw short, and the ball came out wobbly, almost picked off.
49ers will attempt a field goal. Wade Ritchie, with Chad Stanley holding, will attempt a 48-yard field goal. His season long is 47. It's on the way, but it's wide right. So the Broncos defense comes alive, led by Bill Romanowski.
You know, a lot of people talk about him and this and that, but what a lot of people don't talk about is his dedication to playing this game. As Sam, you mentioned it, he has never missed a game in his career in 13 years. That is phenomenal. He has a strict regime on getting his body ready. He starts at 7 o'clock in the morning with stretching, and it goes all week long, all the way up to kickoff, where before kickoff, his wife makes a batch of super soup. And all the players go over and they drink some of the super soup.
Broncos from the spot of the miss, the 38, quickly outside to Howard Griffith, the fullback, out of the backfield, brought down up to 43. Gus Frerotte was in at quarterback. Look at the AFC playoffs. The division leaders, Tennessee, Oakland, and Miami. Denver is in, and so is Baltimore. The Jets need a win tomorrow to make the playoffs, but they're in Baltimore, and that's a tough one. Denver still has a shot for the number 2 seed in the AFC. They need help for that. Mike Anderson up to the 49-yard line. Looks like he's got enough for a first down. Denver needs a win today and an Oakland loss to win the division. They need a win and an Oakland and Miami losses to be the number 2 seed and get a bye in the first round.
I got to tell you, I think Mike Shanahan is really something special as a coach. The way he prepares his team, he's smart. He gets into the schemes of things. He knows how to work a defense. He knows how to get his players ready. Look at the guys on the offensive side of the ball, Sam. No superstars over there, just players.
Frerotte on first down completes to McCaffrey. His 3rd catch of the game, 99th of the season. He's down at the San Francisco 49.
Hey, he's one of those guys we're talking about. No superstars, but guys that just want to be good. And Eddie McCaffrey's one of those guys that want to be good. In pain, he looks like, all the time. And when you play this game, you're going to play it in pain. If you catch 99 balls, that means you're going to be tackled that many times as well.
For the 49ers on defense, Winfred Tubbs has a sprained right knee, questionable return. He's been replaced by Jason Kyle, number 57. Play fake by Farad, has time, throws, pass was tipped.
There, it's got to come out. There it is.
Flags are down. But the pass was tipped at the line, so that's going to negate the flags downfield.
Pleasant get his hand on that.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference. The pass was tipped.
Boy, Jason Webster caught himself a break there because Jason Webster had no idea that ball was tipped. Anthony Pleasant, 94, gets, there you go, his hand and finger on it, head, whatever. It was good enough for a tip, though.
Broncos have a third down. They've got to get to the 41-yard line for a first down. There's Anthony Pleasant.
You know, and you got to rotate those defensive linemen in and out of the game, Sam. Up here at Mile High, I tell you, it's hard on your chest. You're sucking trogs.
Empty backfield. Now Chamberlain shifts, and the timeout is called by Gus Farad.
Charge timeout. Denver. This is their third and final charge team.
Final timeout for the Broncos in the first half with 3 minutes remaining. There have been some great memories here at Mile High. How about the 1987 AFC Championship? Renowned for the fumble, Ernest Biner heading for the goal line. But he was stripped by Jeremiah Castile. Denver hung on and defeated Cleveland 38-33.
You know, everybody talks about that, and they think about Ernest Biner, but you know, no one ever mentions that Webster Slaughter on that play missed his block. It was a designed run, as you obviously, and he was responsible for the guy that caused the fumble. He was supposed to block him, and he didn't block him, and he was just a rookie at that time.
Here's 3rd and 5 for the Broncos. Empty backfield again. Byron Chamberlain in motion. 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers in. Farad throws, completes it to Chamberlain. Fights off a couple of tackles down to the 30. First down for the Broncos, who love the tight ends who used to be big wide receivers.
Yeah, all of them are. You remember Shannon Sharp? He was a wide receiver, and they moved them down inside. And Byron Chamberlain is one of those guys. Desmond Clark is one of those guys. The only one that was a true tight end that is playing tight end for the Broncos right now is Dwayne Carswell. He's a true tight end. Now these other guys are tight ends, but they got the receiving hands of a wide receiver and the speed too.
Pick up a 15 from the 30. Farad, short drop, nobody open. Buys some time, drops it off incomplete. Tried to get it to Howard Griffith, and then he took a hit from Chike O'Keefer.
Well, you know, we were just talking about Carswell and being that guy. He was in the middle of the field then, and Gus never saw him. He was open twice, as a matter of fact. Here he is right here. He's going to be coming in. He's going to stand right about in there as the play unfolds in, and Gus never sees him. He gets behind the linebacker. Look, he's open, still open. He's open the whole time. Gus never saw him.
Farad, after the hit, limping back to the huddle and now limping to the line of scrimmage. On 2nd and 10, McCaffrey in motion. Off the pitch, Karan Coleman trying to get outside, and a good job by the 49ers defense. Short pickup on the play, led by Ahmed Plummer on the tackle. Jason Kyle was there as well. We're coming down to the 2-minute warning.
Eddie McCaffrey was slow getting up off the ground there.
And the last regular season game in Mile High, late in the first half, the Broncos lead it 10-0. This one's for you, Bill. Next month, Fox presents Grounded for Life, a new comedy about parenthood and other mind-altering experiences. Don't miss Grounded for Life. Series premiere Wednesday, January 10th, 8:30, 7:30 Central, right here on Fox.
Sam, I'm still grounded.
3rd down for the Broncos. Have to get to the 20 for a first. Coleman in motion. Farad down, a flag on the play. Brenson Buckner was there to pull him down.
Yeah, Brenson Buckner had he had Lenny Freeman in one arm, and he had Gus Frerotte in the other, and he had his arm out there.
Grabbing the face mask. Defense, number 99.
But Buckner grabbed him by the face
automatic.
mask.
First down.
Well, you know, look at the arm out here. That should be holding right there if your arm's outside. And if you've got a lineman wrapped up in one arm and a quarterback in the other arm, they shouldn't get you for the face mask.
Grabbed on it.
No.
A 15-yard penalty here. That was earlier on the hit by Chike O'Keefer, and Frerotte came up limping. Brenson Buckner, another penalty on the 49ers, their 7th of the game. Here's a first down for the Broncos at the 15. Coleman and Griffith in the backfield. McCaffrey in motion. Frerotte fires and completes to Rod Smith down to the 5-yard line. Second catch, third catch of the game for Rod Smith.
Boy, that was a nice timing route on the outside. Watch him sit in front of Ahmad Plummer. Blank, he just sits down right in front of him. Behind the linebacker and in front of Plummer.
With the clock running, it's first and goal at the 5. Frerotte to Coleman. Coleman fights his way down to the 1-yard line. Karan Coleman getting a chance to play here.
At only 5'7", too.
Scored a touchdown. And now taking that ball down to the 1-yard line.
Everybody talks about height. They talked about Jeff Garcia didn't have enough height. And here's Karan Coleman at 5'7". If you're good enough, you're big enough. It's that simple. In this league, just get it done.
Here's Coleman. Can he make it to the end zone? He's hit short of the goal line. Broncos do not have any timeouts remaining. They've used them all up.
You know, and sometimes if you're small, then that has its disadvantages too, as he just found out when he ran into Ken Norton. Watch Kenny Norton 51 put the hit on. Ooh, wraps him up. Well, maybe you'd want a little bit more size right there.
Try again. The 49ers called timeout. That surprised you, Bill? Unless they wanted to get some personnel out there. But here with the Denver Broncos out of timeouts.
Well, they bring in some fresh linemen is what they did, Sam, and they brought in some bigger people.
Cedric Killings, number 71, is in.
Yeah,
Nate Hopgood-Chittick.
Yep. Nate.
Just Nate?
Well, Nate for me.
Okay.
You can carry the rest of it. Nate's in.
12th play of the drive. It's third and goal from the 1-yard line. This drive started at the Broncos 39. Griffith shifts. Play fake for Rod Rolling. Looking and throwing, complete but short of a touchdown. Dwayne Carswell, the tight end, ridden out of bounds by Posey.
Yeah.
Jeff Posey with a terrific tackle.
Jeff Posey had great coverage on Carswell that time, and that's what he's good at. Posey is very good at covering up a tight end. And behind him, Monty Montgomery was in great coverage as well. And that's where you want that linebacker to bite down inside on the play action. Posey, outstanding job of not getting sucked inside and staying with the tight end.
Broncos bring Mike Anderson back on 4th and goal from the 1. Anderson carrying behind Griffith to the goal line. Touchdown.
Howard Griffith.
He led the way from Mike Anderson for his 14th rushing touchdown of the season. That's a high in the AFC, second only to Marshall Faulk in the NFL.
Did the ex-Marine give a salute? I didn't see.
Yes, he did.
He gave a salute?
Yes, he
did.
did.
Get that mile-high salute in here.
Great job by Mike Anderson. Broncos opening up a big lead. Coming down close to halftime. It's 17-0. Penalties have hurt the 49ers.
Oh, that's given them most of Denver's yards today. Take a look at this surge by the offensive line. They get Dan Neal out inside. They block Lepsis down, Carswell, and then they lead Griffith. Boom. Right up on the strong safety herd, and then it's easy task. for Mike Anderson to take it the rest of the way.
Jason Kyle tried to stop him, but Anderson would not be denied.
Yeah, just too much. You know, you look, watch the blocks. Watch Carswell inside. Look what he did to John Engelberger. And that's a tight end on a defensive end. That should not happen. Look, bang, he gets him blocked inside. And all that blocking and all the misdirection and all the zone and all the things they do, that guy's responsible for it. You heard Howie Long call him the best offensive line coach in the NFL, and I've got to agree with him.
He's a good teacher, isn't he?
Well, he has a PhD in education, and I think all good coaches, you can almost trace back somewhere along the line they were teachers, and they can work with a group and they can communicate. The offensive line loves this guy. Now they're saying this is going to be his last year as an offensive line coach, and if he goes, Denver they'll have a hard time replacing him.
Look at that. Discrepancy in rushing yardage. Jonas Lewis, number 43. Paul Smith, number 27. Deep for the 49ers. Steve Lindsay with a kick. Lewis calls for it, takes it at the 7. Finds an opening. Takes it outside across the 30 where he's brought down.
Flag on that.
Delta O'Neal on the tackle. Flag on the play, and we'll check that out.
You know, Sam, we talked about those teachers, coaches. You think about Vince Lombardi, Bill Parcells, Mike Holmgren, John Madden. Guys, you've traced back the really good coaches in the history of the NFL. You'll find out somewhere along the line they were school
Receiving
teachers.
team, number 96. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Here's another penalty on the 49ers. Their 8th penalty of the game. We've got the Visa halftime report coming up in just a moment. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris in the studio with a look at the earlier game. The Giants
All right, Sam.
clinching the #1 seed in the NFC. We'll look at that game. Fox Sports Ticker has up to the second stats, all coming up on the Visa halftime report. Happy holidays to all the guys back at the Fox Television Center. Garcia being rushed by Price. Dumped it off to Charlie Garner. Romanowski drags him down. Boy, Romanowski has all of a sudden lifted his game. Last couple of series, he's been a force.
Watch the spin move inside on Ray Brown. This is Trevor Price, and he's going to take it into Ray Brown, and then the spin move. What? Bang! Whoop! Swat him backside. He gets that quick pressure, and that really changed the whole timing of that play. And then Romo came through the offensive lineman, and he got to Garner. And the reason he was able to do that, and the lineman didn't turn back and block him, was because of that quick pressure by Price.
2nd and 5 to 21 with 28 seconds remaining in the half. 3 wide receivers for the 49ers. Quick toss is complete to Jerry Rice up at the 28-yard line. Second catch of the game for Jerry Rice. 49ers call timeout. 11 seasons of 70 catches or more for Jerry Rice.
Oh, the guy's got more records than my doctor. Every time you look at their press guide, you look at his pages. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
It is a book.
Truly special, especially the yardage thing. That's amazing. His yardage as a receiver, out of all the receivers in history, he's about 3 miles ahead of everybody else.
A team with the right salary cap situation that can use a guy who can get open and catch 60 to 70 passes, I think has got a good chance of signing Jerry Rice.
You know what team might I just thought about it after I was talking about the coach.
Yeah.
Mike Holmgren, Seattle.
That's
they
possible.
They could use a go-to guy.
The key will be who's got the room on the salary cap. Out of the shotgun, Garcia steps up, throws, and it is incomplete, intended for Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that was meant for Rice again. You know, we were talking to Jerry Rice yesterday, and Jerry was telling us the memories and everything you went through. And then we got talking about Jeff Garcia. And I was saying, can you imagine you left last game, you left, Jeff Garcia, you had Joe Montana, you had Steve Young, and this guy, now Garcia throws for over 4,000 yards. He says, you know what? He says, I met Jeff Garcia a long time ago up at a bar at San Jose. And he came up to me and he said, I'm going to play in the NFL one day, and I'm going to throw you a pass. And Jerry's like, yeah, okay, kid, good seeing you. How are you? And sure enough,
it happened.
We'll end up probably throwing him his last pass as a 49er.
Flag goes down. They blow the play down. False start. And yet another penalty on the 49ers.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That's on Ray Brown, who's really had a good year for the 49ers. In fact, a lot of people felt he could have made the Pro Bowl, and they were really rooting for him.
Well, when you look at the yardage that the quarterback has, you look at being sacked the least amount of times in the NFL. You look at the yards that Charlie Garner got for the second year in a row, over 1,000. And somebody you would think would have to go. And Ray Brown, they thought, should be that somebody.
Paul Smith, rookie out of Texas, El Paso in the backfield, takes the handoff. Gets across the 30, fights his way up to the 35. About 4 yards short of the first down marker.
Charge timeout.
49ers stop the clock.
This is their third and final charge team timeout.
Their final timeout.
Second timeout.
5th round draft pick, Paul Smith. Getting some playing time here. A lot of work still to be done for the 49ers in the offseason. They're $11 million over the salary cap. We've got David Treadwell down on the sideline. David, who's your guest?
Well, a special guest down here at Mile High Stadium, a man who needs no introduction, who helped build this place, John Elway. How you doing, John?
Doing great, David.
What's some of your special memories about this place? A lot of electricity and energy in this ballpark today, huh?
There really is. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia, and I mean, there's a lot of great games in this stadium, and I'm going to miss it.
All right, back up to you guys.
Thanks, David. Paul Smith, final play of the first half. The draw play to Smith. John Mobley made the stop. We've come to the end of the first half. Mike Shanahan's team, the offense, got together with help from penalties by the 49ers. The offense didn't score a point last week in Kansas City. They put 17 on the board here in the first half. JB. That's the boss singing, and he was at Giant Stadium today. Maybe the little inspiration from him for the Giants, who go 12-4 and clinch the #1 seed in the NFC.
And rode through the Super Bowl in the NFC. He's going to have to go through New York now. What a fantastic job Jim Fosso's done in turning that all around there a few weeks back when he made a ridiculous, it seemed at the time, statement that we're going to the playoffs.
A big finish. Tomorrow on Fox, some great games coming up with a lot of playoff implication. Fox doubleheader tomorrow. Begins with a pregame show at noon Eastern. Set for the second half. Delta O'Neill encouraging the crowd to get into it. Wade Ritchie to kick off for the 49ers. Broncos trying to finish 11-5, keep their hopes alive for winning the AFC West. Ritchie with a strong boot. O'Neill backs up, takes it 6 yards deep, and won't bring it out. First half?
Yeah, take a look at these numbers here, Sam. It's kind of deceiving. Now, the penalties jump out at you right here, and that's hurt them. But in all actuality, see this number here, 194? 81 of those yards are 49er penalties. 81 yards. 40. So in all actuality, they only have about 111 offensive yards. So 96 offensive yards here and 111 offensive yards here. And the defenses of both these teams have really stepped up.
Gus Frerotte is the quarterback. Brian Griese was injured early in the game, was in for 5 plays, was hit hard, went to the ground with a jammed shoulder, and actually came back for 1 play, a handoff to Karan Coleman for a touchdown, 24-yard touchdown run. But Frerott's got to be ready because of the Broncos playing a wild card game next week, which could happen on the road in Baltimore. Frerott's got to be ready. Griffith and Anderson in the backfield. Anderson rushed for 70 yards in the first half, gets no gain on the first play of the second half. Good Anthony Pleasant on the tackle. David Treadwell's down on the sideline.
Guys, Mike Shanahan wasn't too excited about the offensive performance in the first half, but they took advantage of some mistakes on the San Francisco 49ers side. He said Brian Griese will probably not return. He didn't do any more damage to the shoulder, but they don't want to risk it.
Understand that. On second down, Frerotte throwing to McCaffrey. Across the 30 for a first down. 100th reception of the season for Ed McCaffrey. That ties the franchise record held by Lionel Taylor.
This is a deep out pattern, and he takes a Mod Plummer deep and comes back to hold on to that ball. What a grab for his 100th one.
Here's a mile-high memory. Lionel Taylor has the franchise high at 100, and McCaffrey has now tied him. Anderson hit as he crossed the 30, short pickup. Anthony Pleasant with another tackle for the 49ers. It's been a terrific season for Ed McCaffrey. You know, he doesn't look like that big stud wide receiver, but he gets open, great hands, gets the job done.
Well, you know, when you think back about John Elway played here and all the receivers and all the balls thrown to John Elway, and Ed McCaffrey broke that record this year. That's a long withstanding record.
Karan Coleman, little scat back out of Stephen F. Austin. Gets up to the 35-yard line. 49ers have Jason Kyle in at linebacker. He's replaced the injured Winfred Tubbs.
You know, Eddie McCaffrey, Sam, is the perfect example of the offense for the Broncos. He wants to be good, and that's the whole thing. You know, you can have guys that are good, but when it comes to the fourth quarter, you need a guy that wants to be good. They'll show up.
Scotty Montgomery in motion. 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. Montgomery gets the catch, broke a tackle for a first down. Good effort by Scotty Montgomery, the rookie out of Duke. First catch,
first reception of the year,
of the season.
Yeah, and that's a mile-high memory for him. You know, when he gets older, he's gonna look back and he's gonna think he's only a rookie, and he's gonna make that. That's his first catch this year, and he's gonna remember when this stadium is gone and he sees highlight films of it, and you know, he'll remember. I had my first catch in that stadium.
Undrafted free agent. First down for the Broncos at the 45. McCaffrey in motion. Off the play fake, Farrat with time, goes outside to Howard Griffith, the fullback, pulls his way down to the 46-yard line. Jason Webster, the second-round draft pick out of Texas A&M, made the tackle.
Ed McCaffrey comes back in the huddle. He says, "Hey, Gus, I was open on that play. Here comes McCaffrey in motion. Now they have a little play action, but watch where he ends up in the middle of the field." Nobody around Eddie Mack. And he had to tell Gus about it. He went back to the huddle and was telling him.
Coleman tried to cut it back, but a good tackle on the play by Zach Bronson. And Bronson looks to be in some pain. Bronson is actually the veteran of the secondary, and he's only a 4th-year man. Slow getting up.
There's Jim Moore Jr., the defensive coordinator, who, you know, they dumped all the responsibility on him. You know, they go out and they draft all these players, and you know, I don't think Jim had too much into picking them because they got everybody else picking these players. You take these players and you make it work. And he gets all these rookies: Julian Peterson, Ahmad Plummer, Jason Webster. You got Ronnie Hurd. He had John Keith, the other safety, and make them work. Make it work. And earlier in the year, they were calling for Jim Moore's job. They didn't think he was getting it done. I think he's done an outstanding job of getting these guys ready. That's the leg. See that leg?
Oh, boy.
Right leg right below the knee. And one of the things that Jim Moore Jr. did, first off, when he has all these rookie defensive backs, first thing he did, he got Ronnie Lott to come in and talk to him, Sam.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Lott, if you remember when they had those guys that all came in, Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, Dwight Hicks. Remember they called him Dwight Hicks and the Hot Licks? Yeah,
right.
They were all young guys. They were all there together, and that's how they had to start over. And Ronnie Lott got in there, and he talked to these guys about, and he told them, he goes, "I'm going to be watching you. I want to watch your development." That's pressure.
He's one of the most respected players ever. Farrat off the play fake on 3rd and short. Throws outside, completes to Carswell, the tight end, for a first down at the 49ers 25-yard line. He beat Monty Montgomery on the play. Montgomery had replaced Zach Bronson. Was it
Little play action, Desmond Clark running down the seam, then a deep cross right in front of Monty Montgomery, and that's settling in that zone. He caught him in a zone defense behind the linebackers, and bang, right in front of the safeties.
My apologies, I called Carswell. That's Desmond Clark, second-year man out of Wake Forest. First down at the 25-yard line. Off the play fake, Farad going deep for McCaffrey.
What a grab.
Touchdown!
What a grab.
Gus Farad has really gotten his game together. Beautiful pass to McCaffrey and a great catch. McCaffrey is now the franchise record holder in receptions with 101 catches. That's a season record, surpassing Lionel Taylor. And the chant of Eddie. Eddie goes up from the crowd. Jason Elam with the extra point. And the Broncos have come ready to play. They wanted a big finish, and they are giving it to the fans. Eddie McCaffrey with a touchdown grab.
Man-to-man outside. The free safety tries to go over to help out, but look at the concentration by Eddie McCaffrey. He had Jason Webster turned around, and his arms are flailing in front of his face. He's falling backwards. He's going to fall down. His eyes never came off the football.
9th touchdown reception of the season for Ed McCaffrey. Steve Lindsay kicks it off. Jonas Lewis at the goal line. Hops over one man and goes down at the 26-yard line. Kenoy Kennedy made the tackle for the Broncos. Ed McCaffrey talking with his coach. Eddie telling him just how he made that great touchdown catch.
Record-breaking catch.
It's a football at Mile High. These are some of the best performances. Terrell Davis, 215 yards. Billy Sims, 185. Gus Farad, 462 yards passing. Lionel Taylor, 199 yards reception. Stephon Page, 206 as an opponent.
Kansas City. I was with him. We lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Garcia handing off to Fred Beasley, and the fullback gets no gain on a fine tackle by Eric Brown, the free safety.
You know, you can really sense that the defense for the Broncos really stepping up. They know where they are. They know how bad they've played, and they know how important it is at this time of the season to become dominant. And you can see the level of play in everybody on that defense has really picked up today. From the rushers to the linebackers to the coverage outside to the safeties filling.
Beasley and Garner in the backfield. They rushed for only 15 yards in the first half. Play fake. Garcia going long for Rice. Incomplete. Terrell Buckley on the coverage. Garcia in the first half passed for 89 yards and broke the single-season passing yardage record.
Watch Terrell Buckley play Jerry Rice here. He's up. He gets his hand on, and watch him run with him, Sam. Watching his eyes, watching his eyes. Now, when he sees the arms go out, that's when his arms go out and extends for the ball. That's exactly how you taught to play cornerback in this league. He did that perfect. Now, for T-Buck, he doesn't always do it perfect. Sometimes he guesses. But that's what I'm talking about, the level of the defense raising up.
On 3rd down and 11, Garcia in trouble. Ball knocked out of his hands is loose, and the Broncos recover at the 15-yard line. Trevor Price with the hit knocked the ball out of the hands of Garcia. And Tanuvasa recovered.
Boy, watch these guys coming up. There's some pressure inside, and then Price with the strip on the outside, and Tanuvasa's there to pick it up. And that's the level I'm talking about. This is time for this defense to create turnovers, stripping the ball, the rush upfield. It's all coming together, and that's where this defense excels in the turnovers. They came into this game second in the league, second in the whole NFL in taking the ball away.
With 42, Tanuvasa with a fumble recovery from the 16. Mike Anderson cut it back inside. Gets down to about the 13-yard line. Brenson Buckner on the tackle.
Now, if you remember, Sam, go back to '97 when they won the Super Bowl, Denver Broncos.
Right.
That they came in with the same kind of defense, but when they hit the playoffs, Sam, that defense went 12-1. They took the ball away 12 times in the playoffs from the opponents and gave it away one time.
Right.
And that was the surge. And they're trying to use that same formula and create that same kind of atmosphere with the defense they have now.
Griffith in motion. Farad running for it. Inside the 10. Going to the goal line. Touchdown. Gus Farad.
He's going to have one whale of a thigh bruise.
He is hurting. But even with the big lead, Farad was going for it. Jason Webster with the hit at the goal line. And again, the concern for Farad, who was shaken up earlier in the game, had to come out.
What happens is you're going to watch everybody downfield. They're in zone coverage, and everybody vacates the middle, and he takes off running. Now watch this shot right there on his thigh, right above his knee. Jason Webster came in and flipped him head over heels. Lenny Freeman pushes it. Preston Buckner outside. McCaffrey turns around as he's in his route, and he helps out. Watch McCaffrey. He's in his route, and he's going to turn back and get a block right there.
Just a little block.
But Webster comes in and takes that shot right about the thigh, right above the knee on Farad. He's feeling that one. Those shots go right through your pads, right through your skin, and right into the bone.
There's a good chance Gus Farad will not be with the Denver Broncos next season. He wants to go somewhere where he can start.
Well, effort like that and the yardage he's put up this year and the games he's won, that's a good audition.
He started this game 1 for 5, but he has gotten his game together, hit 12 of his next 15 passes. The Broncos have busted loose and have blown this game wide open. It's now 31-0. Elam with the extra point. The turnover turns into a touchdown as Gus Farad takes it in, and the fans are loving it. The fans here at Mile High are loving every moment of this game as their Broncos.
How great is that?
Had a terrific game.
He's holding that sign up. He's here at the closing. It's Christmas weekend. He's got the presents and Santa. Oh, look, that's awesome.
Steve Lindsay on the kickoff. Jonas Lewis from the goal line. Hit. Trying to fight his way forward. Is stopped around the 20-yard line. The memories continue at Mile High. Well, everyone talks about the drive in Cleveland, but John Elway's best effort may have been against Houston in the 1991 AFC Divisional Playoffs. He started from his own 2, faced 2 fourth-down plays, and drove his team down 78 yards to set up a David Treadwell field goal. 28-yarder with 20 seconds left. Broncos won it 26-24. David, how about that memory? We'll get back to David in a moment. Garcia being rushed, and a pass is broken up. Intended for Greg Clark, the tight end.
Flag on the play.
A flag, a late hit. Al Wilson, the middle linebacker.
Roughing the quarterback, helmet-to-helmet contact, number 56. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Oh, hogwash.
You don't like that call?
No, I thought that was a heck of a blitz by Al Wilson, and Jeff Garcia stood there, threw the ball in the face of it, and he wrapped up.
Al Wilson, the second-year man out of Tennessee, he didn't like that call, as you can see. Ball spotted up to the 35-yard line. Harold Hasselbeck, number 96, is in as one of the defensive ends for the Broncos. Charlie Garner, boy, they haven't given him anything. Charlie Garner has been totally shut down. John Mobley on the tackle. Yes, the defense has played well.
They try to run a little lead play right here, and you talk about that defense, Sam, stepping up. Watch the fill here by the weak side backer, John Mobley. They're going to run a lead play right inside here. He takes on it, bang, he wraps up. Wilson takes on the fullback. Mobley wraps up.
Charlie Garner has rushed for over 1,100 yards, has 5 carries in the game for -7. He's the Pro Bowl running back. Play fake by Garcia. Fires for Clark, and it hit Mobley. The middle linebacker covering on the play.
That is Al Wilson. 56.
Oh, I'm sorry, Al
Wilson.
Wilson.
You see his arm wrapped up, and you're thinking it's the same cast that Mobley has on. See, they both have those casts. They're both wrapped up with the right arm. But Mobley had his back turned, and he was running with the tight end down the hash marks. And he didn't even know that. And then all of a sudden, he gets doink. He gets right in the back of the head with the ball.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the 49ers. Jerry Rice has caught a couple of passes, 3 wide receivers in. Broncos defense has been superb. Garcia under pressure throws. Jerry Rice with a nice catch and a first down up at midfield. 3rd catch of the game for Jerry Rice. Ray Crockett on the coverage.
That's a pretty good throw there by Garcia, too, because that pocket collapsed on him quick. And he put that ball right on the money for Rice. Take a look at that Denver defense today. Only giving up 101 yards so far.
Outstanding.
Today. And that's the 29th ranked defense in the NFL, and it's time to step it up.
Garcia fires, and it's incomplete, intended for Greg Clark, the tight end. Garcia, as we mentioned earlier, has broken the single-season passing yardage record in San Francisco history.
That in itself speaks volumes, doesn't it? When you think of the history of the 49ers and all the great offenses that were there, and all the, Jerry Rice and Steve Young and Joe Montana and John Taylor and everything they did there. And here's little old Jeff Garcia from Gilroy, California, setting the yardage mark.
Charlie Garner out to the right. Rice in motion. The rollout by Garcia. Being chased. And he runs out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Chased out by Al Wilson.
Look at this, Sam. The 49ers. It's an NFL record. They've scored in 402 straight games.
They haven't been shut out, I think, since 1977 or 78, is it?
You go back and you think, remember last weekend with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the way they played? I mean, there's one thing you don't mess with, and I don't care where it is. You can't mess with tradition. And when you come in here, the odds are stacked against you. They're closing this thing, all the memories, the great ones on the sideline. You can't mess with tradition.
3rd and a long 3. Garcia throws, and it's incomplete.
Ian Gold, almost an interception.
Gold on the coverage, knocking it down. And once again, the 49ers stopped on 3rd down, but it looks like they'll go for it here on 4th. They have not been shut out since the 1977 season. And right now, way behind in this one. And now they're looking just to keep that streak, that scoring streak alive. Have to get to the 40 for a first down. 3 wide receivers in. Garcia gets time. Waiting and going long for Owens. He leaps and he dropped it. Covered by Billy Jenkins on the play.
I got to tell you, Terrell Owens is mad. He's banging the ground. He wants a pass interference call. And watch Billy Jenkins. Billy Jenkins hits his hands 3 times before that ball comes down. He has every right to complain. That should have been a flag. But, hey, it's Mile High magic. It's their day.
No no-shows today at Mile High. The Broncos have Gus Frerotte back in. He was testing that leg after the hit on the touchdown run. Quick outside drop by Rod Smith. Well, one of the goals in this game was to get Ed McCaffrey and Rod Smith to 100 catches. They've gotten McCaffrey there. Rod Smith is 5 away at 95. He has 3 catches in the game. Only one time in NFL history have there been 2 players on the same team with over 100 receptions, and that was on the Detroit Lions.
Back in 95.
95.
Perryman and Moore.
You got them. You're good with your football trivia. Frerotte looking for Rod Smith. Went the other way, and it's incomplete. Jason Kyle covering Howard Griffith.
Yeah, he got tossed into the action early, Sam, and as you said, was 1 for 5 as he started out, and he really came on strong after that as he got comfortable. Because as we said before, he didn't take many of the reps during the week in practice. Greasy was getting ready to come back, and he'd been out for 5 weeks, so he was taking all the reps. So it took a little bit for Gus to get going, but he got in a groove quick.
Chamberlain shifts back. Perrott short drop, completes to Rod Smith. He's got a first down across the 45 with his 96th reception of the season. Anthony Parker and Ronnie Hurd on the coverage. Rod Smith going to the Pro Bowl. He leads the NFL in receiving yards.
And he's a guy that's just been doing it for Denver ever since he got here. You know, McCaffrey and Rod Smith were just two guys. They just picked them up. A lot of teams didn't want them. They were cut by teams. McCaffrey was cut by 2 teams.
Mike Anderson dropped for a loss, dropped the football.
Yeah, but he was
and
down.
He's ruled down by contact.
He was down. That's right. His knee was down.
Bryant Young made the tackle.
Anderson's wrapped up and his knee's down. Point, and then the ball comes out.
49ers were hoping that they'd be a lot farther along. They wanted a better performance against a winning team. They had won 4 of their last 5 and should have been 5 out of 5. Lost to New Orleans, where the Saints came from behind. McCaffrey in motion. Quick outside of Rod Smith. There's another catch. Breaks a tackle. Out of bounds inside the 35. First down.
He's really good after the catch. You know, you hear that term all the time. Yak, you know, yards after catch. And that's where Rod Smith has been good. He's a good deep route runner, but also once he gets the ball in his hands, he's a good ball runner.
Yak, you always say that to me. Yak, you're always.
Well, you're always yakking. Yeah, that's Y-A-K.
Oh,
okay. His is Y-A-C. Yards after catch.
Gotcha now. 97 for Rod Smith. 5 in this game. First down, or rather 3rd and short. And Anderson, looking for the first down, is pushed back. He had to get across the 35, and I don't think he did. Anthony Pleasant and Jason Kyle combining on the tackle. If you're just joining us, it was a scoreless first quarter in this last regular season game ever at Mile High Stadium. Packed house, over 76,000, but then the Broncos started to come on after an injury to Brian Griese. He was in for 5 offensive plays, jammed his shoulder. Mike Shanahan told us he'd be okay, but Gus Frerotte has come in and done well. And the Broncos, who led at halftime 17-0, lead 31-0, and Frerotte with a quarterback sneak for a first down. There is a chance there could be a playoff game here in Mile High if the Broncos win and the Oakland Raiders lose tomorrow. Raiders are playing Carolina in Oakland, and that game will be on Fox. Mike Shanahan really got his team ready. He was concerned. We were here Thursday at practice, and he stopped the practice to let his guys know they weren't practicing well. That pass was intended for Rod Smith.
Well, when they lost 31-21 at Cincinnati and really got their rear ends handed to them, and Corey Dillon ran all over the place against them, they bounced back next week against the Jets, and they put some points back up on the board, and 30 of them to be exact, and they got that offense going again, and it was kind of a wake-up call. And then they went on that run, and they won 7 straight games, and they kind of took off last week a little bit. They were comfortable. Yeah. They knew they had the playoffs. And now they had to bounce back from a bad loss.
Mike Anderson bounces off a couple of tacklers, gets inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Mike Semper Fi. You know,
Marine.
Yeah, really sort of, well, the holiday season, he's a little drummer boy. And he just keeps banging at you. And this offense, the running plays for Denver, they've only got 6 running plays, Sam. They have an inside zone, an outside zone. They have a lead draw. They have a little toss outside. You know, and they just keep repping the same things over and over again. And when you're talking to Mike Anderson, he says, Alex Gibbs makes it. If we don't do it perfect in practice, we start it all over again.
3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends for the Broncos. Chamberlain shifting. Short drop. Frerotte for Rod Smith through his hands. They are, every pass is to Rod Smith. They want to get him. They are dedicated to getting him to 100 catches.
Well, given the score, you can afford to do that. Rod Smith sets up Jason Webster, a little out, and then in on the slant. Ball was thrown just a little bit low. But, you know, it's ironic that they're trying to do this for Rod Smith. They got McCaffrey his records, and last week the tables were turned. I mean, that's what San Francisco coach Steve Mariucci had to contend with. First he wanted to get the ball to Rice because he was done, and then they wanted to get the ball to Stokes because of the record there.
Going for it on 4th down. Perrott looking, throwing outside, and completing to Rod Smith. First down to the 15-yard line.
You know, and the one thing that Steve Mariucci talked about is he kept throwing the ball in the 4th quarter with a big lead, and he felt bad for Dick Duran. And he said, boy, you know, I hope he understands, because there's a coaching fraternity, and I hope he understands that I had to throw these balls. These guys take care of him. And so now he's on the other end of it.
Yeah.
So he does understand that with this big lead, they keep throwing the ball.
He's 2 away from the 100 reception mark. Rod Smith comes to the sideline. Broncos with a first down at the 49ers 15. Mike Anderson behind Griffith. Down to the 11-yard line. Jason Kyle made the stop. One guy, we've talked a lot about Jerry Rice leaving, but another guy who could get cut in the salary cap situation is Ken Norton.
Yeah, you know, and what a player he's been for San Francisco over the years. You know, he was down in Dallas. I just thought he was an okay linebacker. And in his first couple of years with San Francisco, yeah, you know, he was a focal point because he came from the championship Dallas Cowboys. But he's really played well the last 5 years. Big-time linebacker.
Completion to Rod Smith. Takes it down to the 5-yard line with his 99th reception of the season.
We're going back to Kenny Norton, and he's under contract next year. He still has a contract with the club next year, but he says he needs to find out what they're going to do. Yeah. If they're going to go with a youth movement and continue where they're going. And, you know, you can always restructure and do things, too. You know, his back's been bothering him, his lower back. It's the disc. He has some disc problems.
That's a concern.
His numbers have tailed off a little bit this year, but what a leader he is out there in just his presence alone.
On 1st and goal, Anderson to the 1, and Ken Norton made the stop. Anderson running hard.
Watch 51, Kenny Norton. You know, the guy doesn't practice much during the week because of that back condition, but here he is down on the goal line, losing 31-0, and just laying it out all on the line. When he sees that back hit the hole, he only knows one thing. That looked kind of scary there. It looked like his father, didn't it?
Yeah. 2nd and goal at the 1. Mike Anderson fighting his way. Touchdown. Touchdown of the season for Mike Anderson, his 2nd of the game. Elam's kick is good, and the Broncos have widened the lead on the San Francisco 49ers. The offense is moving, and Mike Anderson has the finishing touch.
We've seen that play before.
Series of Mile High. Terrell Davis needed 170 yards rushing to go over 2,000 for the season. Last game of the 1998 season, he got it. This 15-yard gain gave Davis 178 for the game, 2,008 for the season. Only the 4th running back to go over 2,000 rushing yards in a season. Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, O.J. Simpson, and this young man, the rookie, Mike Anderson, is over 1,500 yards this season.
And he hasn't played in every game this year.
No.
And that's the thing. I mean, this guy is really something else. Mike Anderson, as long as he's going to be in the backfield for the Broncos, this is going to be the NFL's Paris Island.
Steve Lindsay's kickoff. Jonas Lewis 3 yards deep. Stays in the end zone. Big day tomorrow. Final day of the regular season, and on Fox we start with the Terry Awards on the great pregame show, and look at those playoff games. Importance: St. Louis, New Orleans, one of them. Then the second game of the doubleheader, Minnesota and Indianapolis. The Colts trying to stay alive. They need a Jets loss, and they need to win to get in. The Jets need a win in Baltimore to clinch a playoff spot. Pittsburgh needs both those teams, the Jets and Indianapolis, to lose, and they need a win in San Diego.
That's a very good possibility.
Garcia runs away from trouble, completes to Jerry Rice, steps out of bounds up at the 25. Kavika Pittman was shaken up on the play. It looked like he landed on his shoulder. There's Kavika Pittman, wants to stay in. Looked like his right, he was
right hand.
That right hand.
Well, he laid out to try to get the Garcia, and he hit his right arm as he was going after him.
We have reached the end of the third quarter. It has been all Broncos on this final regular season game at Mile High. Welcome back to Mile High Stadium in Denver, getting set for the fourth quarter. And from all of us at Fox, we want to wish you the happiest of holiday seasons. You still have to finish your shopping.
You're right, I do. You're reminding me because I didn't get you anything, and I promise I will, though.
On first down, on second down, ball carried up to the 29-yard line by Charlie Garner.
You know, the one thing you have to take out of this for the Denver Broncos is the win's great, the closing's going to be great, and all the memories are going to be great, but their defense and how they stepped up today, because I really think that the San Francisco 49ers offense is very, very explosive, and Denver has come today and they've shut them down. And you saw those numbers there in the playoffs. All the teams that are in the playoffs have good defenses, and Denver has to match that.
Jeff Garcia calls timeout on a 3rd and 1. He wants to talk it over on the sideline.
If the way it's made doesn't convince you, or the durability, or the safety, or the comfort, or the performance, or the way you're treated, if all that doesn't make you want to buy a Saturn, no offer will. Of course, we could be wrong.
Get APR financing as low as 1.9% on all 2001 models.
Notice the stylization typical of neoclassic columns. Each of the capitals contains...
Is that real gold, Mr. Stern?
Nearly 11 pounds of gold leaf.
Next, please.
E-Trade Bank doesn't have expensive branches, so our Money Market Plus account pays you a higher rate than many CDs without tying up your money.
What more could you possibly want?
Get 6.25% APY. Call 888-609-BANK.
Energizer E² with titanium. Take power to the next level.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series. By E-Trade, it's your money. By Energizer E², the battery with a heart of titanium. And by Best Buy, the place to find the magical gifts. Turn on the fun.
No empty seats in this stadium today. Officially, from the stadium, we're told no shows. Everybody's here for the final regular season game at Mile High Stadium. Here's 3rd and 1 for the 49ers. 2 tight ends in. That was Justin Swift in motion. Beasley, big hole. First down up to the 37-yard line. Jeff Garcia has not been able to put points on the board. His yardage, though, is the greatest in San Francisco 49ers history at 4,200, surpassing Steve Young, who was at 4,170.
You know what's funny? I remember last year about this time, everything coming out of San Francisco 49ers was that this isn't our quarterback of the future.
Right. Flags go down. Monte Rieger jumped across. Let's see if he was drawn off.
Encroachment, defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Rieger jumps offside. You were saying about the quarterback situation?
Garcia, and I think his story is amazing, except for the fact that he's not going to win the Super Bowl or be the league MVP, as Kurt Warner's was last year. Virtually a guy out of nowhere, who everybody all his life has told him, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. And all he's ever done is do. A guy that's persevered through everything, on and off the field.
Tragedies in his family.
Playing up in Canada and just battling all the time.
Garcia throws, and it's a little behind Fred Beasley. Hey, they were ready. The Orange Crush was here. That was the color of the 70s, the Orange Crush defense.
I loved them. They were awesome. You know, and the guys that play there, you know, Lyle Alzado was a big part of that. Yeah. Tom Jackson, of course, was a part of that. I saw Tom Jackson down on the sidelines before the game, and he said, you know, I'm going up to Pat Boland's suite and make sure the first thing he does when they close the stadium is get all those names off the ring and get them into the other stadium.
On 2nd and 6, the nice cutback by Charlie Garner, and he gets up close to the first down. Well, here's the real Orange Crush. We told you, Lyle Alzado, Tom Jackson, Reuben Carter, the rest of the Orange Crush defense. Other names included Randy Gradishar, Lewis Wright, Steve Foley. You would have looked good in orange.
I would have loved to have played in Denver.
Tom Jackson, the Ring of Fame, Randy Gradishar. He's here today. 3 wide receivers in for the 49ers on first down at their own 46. Blitz coming, and they're chasing him, and Mobley's got him. 3rd sack of the game. 49ers had come in giving up only 20 all season, but 9 the last 3 weeks. They've given up 3 more today.
Yeah, and the pressure. Here's Mobley inside. Romo goes upfield. He takes the guard up Ray Brown upfield, and underneath comes Mobley with the speed with a clean shot to Garcia. And yeah, they've gotten him on the ground, but you know what? They've had pressure on this quarterback all day long. And that's twofold. One, you got a couple new offensive linemen in there playing. For Fiore's out and Willig's in, and also Tyrone Hobson's in. 2, they haven't had a running game, so these guys are teeing off on the pass.
Flags go down, stopping the play.
And I believe the clock ran down on them.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains, second down.
This has not been a good day for Steve Mariucci. His team was hoping to finish on an upbeat note.
That's the one thing he said, Sam. That's the one thing he told us yesterday. He said, we want to come in here, and this is our playoffs. This is it. We want to beat a good team that's going to the playoffs, so we have something to hang our hat on through the offseason, something to look forward to. But you know what? It's been a long season, and a lot of these young rookies that are playing defense, you know, it got bad, and it just kind of slipped on them.
From the 31, Garner trying to pick his way through, short pickup. 10 penalties in the game have hurt the 49ers. They drafted for defense coming into this season, and Steve Mariucci said the evaluations will begin as soon as the season is over, and they will look for defense. They'll go out and interview players and talk to coaches and talk to players out there, trying to get some quality people in again and looking for more defense for next season.
They're probably going to look at linebackers, young linebackers, probably another defensive end in the draft if they can.
Have to get to the Broncos 44 for a first down. Garcia gets time and completes it to Charlie Garner. Spun around, stays on his feet, and brought down up to 47. Billy Jenkins made the tackle on Charlie Garner. 15-yard pickup. Will be a 4th down in the 49ers. Looks like they will go for it. have to get to the Broncos' 44-yard line for a first down. Paul Smith, number 27, is in the backfield. Terrell Owens in motion. The blitz is on. He gets rid of it and completes it to Jerry Rice. A first down at the 34-yard line. Well, a great play by Jeff Garcia. As he was being hit, he found Jerry Rice.
Yeah, the Denver secondary had a little miscommunication in the backfield. And you watch what happens right here. Jimmy Spencer gets knocked down to the ground. He slips and falls. And that leaves Jerry Rice open in the middle of the field.
Fifth reception of the game for Jerry Rice, giving him 74 on the season. Another timeout called by Jeff Garcia.
San Francisco.
A little over 10 minutes to go in this game. The Bronco fans are staying right to the end. Earlier today, the last piece of steel was put into place on the new stadium right across the way. Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, on the left. Bill Owens, the governor, was there, and the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue, on hand. And then over 3,000 fans watched the game on the big screen in the new stadium.
Most of those fans that were watching in there were the workers, the employees and their families that were working on the stadium.
First down for the 49ers at the 34-yard line. Rice in motion. Garcia, the pump fake, and going deep for Owens. Out there, and it's incomplete. Jimmy Spencer on the coverage on Terrell Owens, and now it's all about the 49ers trying to keep the scoring streak alive.
Well, this is a well-thrown ball, too. Man-to-man outside, and watch where he lays this ball. Yeah, that was right. That's a very catchable ball. Oh, heck yeah. You know, it's one of those days for San Francisco.
Yeah. They have not been shut out since October of 1977. 402 consecutive games. And now the danger of being shut out today. The play fake by Garcia gets rid of it as he's hit for Rice, and it's intercepted. Terrell Buckley on the return is out of bounds at the 19. Their flag's down.
They're going to call that flag on Billy Jenkins Jr. because he came on a blitz up the middle and he hits Garcia head-to-head at the helmet.
There's Billy Jenkins, former member of the St. Louis Rams, who came over in the trade.
Roughing the quarterback. Contact to the face of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So that negates the interception.
Yeah, here comes Billy Jenkins right up the middle. And he launched his body. And that was the thing. He left the ground and launched his body, using his body as a missile, and he ended up at the head. And that's going to take away T. Buck's interception. You know, T. Buck was off the field. He was off the field, and he carried the ball with him, saying, heck, you know, I picked off Jerry Rice. And now T. Buck's got to go back out there.
Jenkins has been blitzing a lot in this game. Came up short a couple of times. That time he just went all out. Ball spotted at the Broncos' 20-yard line. 4 wide receivers for the 49ers. Garcia being blitzed by Crockett. Ray Crockett, 4th sack of the game for the Broncos.
They're bringing 4 to the weak side, and that's what they've been doing today. And they came. Romanowski stepped up inside. The tackle freeze. Watch in here. Here's Romo. They freeze down. Now watch outside. There's Crockett off the corner. So the linebackers come, the end comes, the tackle comes, and then the free guy comes, and that's Crockett.
It's a good test for Crockett. Coming back from the hamstring, he's been going all out today. And they'll need him in the playoffs. Fred Beasley, the lone setback. 3 wide receivers. Here comes the blitz again. Garcia gets rid of it. Incomplete. Thrown behind Terrell Owens.
Boy, this defense isn't letting up. They are all over the San Francisco 49ers. That time it was Mobley up the middle on the blitz. Romanowski, he's getting the defense set. He says, here, no, we're blitzing over here. Come on over here. He steps up inside. That slides Deese over. Or I'm sorry, that took Hobson, the guard, over. He slid outside, and there was the opening up the middle for Mobley. The Orange Crush, that's them now, but the Orange Crush today is this Denver defense.
Have to get to the 10-yard line for a first down. Garcia gets rid of it for Rice. Incomplete. Crockett on the coverage. Jerry trying for a desperation one-hand grab. It brings up fourth down, and the field goal kicking unit comes on as Steve Mariucci tries to continue the streak of not being shut out. 402 consecutive games in which the 49ers have scored. They have been shut out to this point. Wade Ritchie will attempt a 44-yarder. Chad Stanley on the hold. And the record stands. The kick is good. The 49ers have scored. The streak is 403 games. But it's all Denver. The Broncos lead it 38-3. High above Denver. On the bottom of your screen, the new stadium. On the top, Mile High. 41 years of football here. It started out as the stadium built for a minor league baseball team. But they have sold out for 30 years. The Broncos are expecting an onside kick. They've got everybody up with the exception of Delta O'Neal. Ritchie kicks it off high. O'Neal backs up to the 10. Gets to the outside and is out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Flag on the play. Jerry Rice, 16 years with the San Francisco 49ers, the greatest wide receiver of all time, penalty on the Broncos. Tony Correnti will let us know.
Holding, receiving team number 32, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jerry Rice, talk to us about his love of the game.
I played the game just for the love of it. It was not all about the records. It was not all about the, winning the Super Bowl. I was just like a little kid out there, and I feel I brought a lot of excitement to so many people's lives.
And another man who's brought a lot of excitement, Rod Smith with a reception, his 100th of the season. They got him to 100, and now he's being congratulated by his teammates. Eddie McCaffrey went over 100, second time in NFL history. Two wide receivers on the same team have had 100 or more receptions in the same season. And he's also gone over 1,600 yards this season. Brett Perriman and Herman Moore did it for Detroit in 1995. Garon Coleman carrying up across the 20-yard line.
You know what's amazing about that, Sam, to me, is that he got all those yards and all those receptions with those wide receivers, and you would think you would be like some pass-happy oriented team. And this is a team that continually always has 1,000-yard rushers all the time. I mean, this offense is based on the run.
Yeah. Gus Ferraro did an outstanding job replacing the injured Brian Griese. Comes to the sideline, and the rookie out of Notre Dame, Jarius Jackson, comes in for his second appearance this season and started to throw. His hit and brought down at the 15-yard line. Eddie McCaffrey, who had a terrific day. His 101st reception, which is a team record for the Broncos, was on his touchdown grab, and a beauty. Rod Smith's 100th, right there, the short out, and yards after the catch, as he always does. Tom Ruin is back for his second punt of the game. Line drive. Kevin Williams at the 39 drops the ball, picks it up, trying to get outside. Does. Good return for Kevin Williams to the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Rod Smith's got the baseball cap on. So does Ed McCaffrey. They put in some great performances. Man who had a million mile-high memories. John Elway, last game at Mile High in the AFC Championship game of 1998. He led the Broncos back in the second half against the Jets. There was a lot of emotion that day. Janet Elway, his wife, felt it as John Elway led the Denver Broncos to the Super Bowl with a comeback win. And he's sitting upstairs, a little behind that post. There he is, looking great as usual.
You see that look he had on his face? He's talking and he's smiling. You see his teeth.
He's always smiling.
You know, he used to come to the line of scrimmage like that. And he'd come up and the defense always says, why is he laughing at us? We always thought he was laughing at us.
Jerry Rice on the catch. Inside the 30-yard line, out of bounds. Check that at the 31-yard line, his 6th catch of the game. 75 on the season for Jerry Rice. But this game has belonged in part to the defense of the Broncos.
All right, they've been outstanding all day long. They came with a notion to step their game up, and they certainly have. And number 53, he's been right in the middle of it all day long.
He really got him fired up in the second period, I thought, second quarter.
That's when the super soup kicked in.
Outside to Terrell Owens, slips one man. Mobley drags him down, the flag on the play. A couple of flags as he's now at the 24-yard line. Been a lot of flags today. 49ers really killed themselves in the first half with penalties.
They were the recipient of most of those flags.
Face mask. This one's against Denver.
Grabbing the face mask. Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, if he grabbed it with a face mask, it would have had to have been with the left hand because that right hand has a cast on it. His thumb's all casted up. And see that?
Yeah. Mobley's the guy who'll be a free agent at the end of this season. And has played well for this team. Ball spotted at the 19-yard line. Garner and Beasley in the backfield for the 49ers. Garcia off the play fake, and they whistle to play dead.
False start. Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
That was on J.J. Stokes outside, and you see the penalties that have hurt the 49ers throughout the game. J.J. Stokes. 4 wide receivers in. Kevin Williams has joined Stokes, Rice, and Owens. Blitz coming, and they've got Garcia. Romanowski leading the way, but it may have been Kavika Pittman with the tackle, but Romanowski was coming hard from the outside.
Yeah, that's the 5th one today. That's something, you know, you come in giving up the fewest sacks in the entire league, and you're playing against a defense that's ranked 29th. Watch, he doesn't get to his 3rd step, and this whole thing falls all over him. Kavika Pittman came crashing in, and Romo's on top of him.
14 sacks given up by the 49ers last 4 games. Beasley, the lone setback. Garcia's short drop goes up top for Owens, overthrows, and Buckley's got it. Interception in the end zone for Terrell Buckley. This time the interception will count.
Yeah, he can keep that ball now. See, they had to give it back because they had to go out there on that penalty last time, roughing the passer, but T-Buck's going to keep that one. See, he's taking it to the house. Buckley's 6th interception on the year. Ball was way overthrown by Garcia.
Garcia would come into the game having thrown only 9 interceptions.
Yeah, that'll make you talk to yourself. You throw a ball like that and you get sacked all these times today, and you got Jeff Garcia talking to himself.
Detron Smith, number 42, is in the backfield, the fullback. Karan Coleman, number 46, carrying. Up across the 45-yard line, Ken Norton with the tackle.
We got Karan, we got Detron. It sounds like something's going to explode back there.
Well, we know the Broncos are in the playoffs in the AFC, the NFC. They still have some things to be settled tomorrow. If the Lions win, they're in. If they lose, well, the Rams might get in if they can beat New Orleans. Or if the Rams and Lions lose, Green Bay could get in if they can win their game against Tampa Bay in Green Bay. Jarius Jackson is the quarterback, the rookie out of Notre Dame. Handing off to Karan Coleman, able to sneak through the line and get up for first down. Zach Bronson with a tackle. 4 minutes to go in the game. Well, if the Broncos remain in the number 5 spot in the AFC, they will have to go to Baltimore next week.
Correct.
For first-round playoff game. If Oakland loses tomorrow to Carolina, the Broncos would win the division and be at least the number 3 seed. They'd play a home wild card game. If they got the number 2 seed, if Oakland and Miami both lose, they would be off next week.
No, the one thing that Denver's done well today offensively, they got that offense scoring again, and they've scored a ton of points this year, second most average per game to the Rams. So that's saying a lot. They're averaging around 35 points a game. Now, last week they didn't do anything. They didn't score a point. They got a special teams touchdown, but they got that thing going again. They 38 points. And when you roll into the playoffs, you know, I'd want to roll into the playoffs with an offense that can score. And that's the one thing that this Denver Broncos team can do is put up points.
Now, what do you do? You're Mike Shanahan. You've got an injured Brian Griese. Hurt his shoulder again. Do you start him in the playoffs, or do you go with Gus Frerotte, who played a fine game?
I think you go with Gus Frerotte, and I think that was the gamble today.
Ball's loose. And the 49ers have recovered at the 35-yard line.
Yes, Sam, I think you just keep preparing Gus Frerotte to go. And if you get Griese back and you get him healthy, then you kind of nurture him along and let him stay there as your backup guy, because he's fragile. He needs that shoulder operated on. He needs it repaired.
Jason Webster stripped the ball loose. And Nate Hopgood-Chittick with the recovery. There's Gus Frerotte, who you give him the win today. In the 6 games that Brian Griese, 5 games that he was out, in the brief time he played today, Frerotte was 5-1. Paul Smith in motion, and looked like the Broncos jumped. Mike Lodish.
You know, for a young team like San Francisco, Steve Mariucci wanted his guys to come in here and feel a playoff atmosphere, you know, because it is a playoff atmosphere in the sense that there's a lot of emotion here today because of the closing.
Defense, the nose guard. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
See, they don't even say nose guards' numbers. They don't even say their names. They don't say anything. No, the nose guard. It's just that thing, that guy.
I think it was Lodish, 97. You're looking at Monte Rieger. There's Lodish.
And, you know, they wanted, there's Bill Walsh, he's down there, and he wants to get a good feel for these young guys. He wanted them in this playoff atmosphere with the high energy in the stadium to get them to realize it and feel it and sense it of where they want to be next year. And they're young, they hit a wall. It's been a long season for them, and it's been too much for them today.
Play fake by Garcia, being rushed again, down he goes.
Number 6.
The Broncos have gotten their defense going. Harold Hasselbeck with the sack. Oh, the outfits are great. Broncos defense together. Virtually a perfect game for Denver today. The only, I guess, blemish would be the injury situation to Brian Griese. But Frerotte stepped up with a strong game. There's Brian, jammed his shoulder. That's the word we got early in the game. He was in for 5 plays and then took a hard hit and had to come out. Blitz is on. Garcia fell down. May have tripped over his own man's foot. gets up and runs inside the 30. Hasselbeck caught up and took him down.
Well, he certainly did.
Heads-up play by Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, I believe he tripped over Ray Brown, the guard's foot.
Good 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the regular season, and the Broncos are rolling. Sam Rose and Bill Moss back at Mile High Stadium in Denver for the final 2 minutes of the regular season. Very few fans have left this stadium. There will be festivities following the game.
It looked like the person that was putting all this magic into the Mile High tonight.
Garcia throws. Terrell Owens on the catch at the 20-yard line. Today's game produced by Michael Burks, directed by Andy Kindle. Our associate director, Rich Dewey. Broadcast associate, Tom Yohe. The technical producer is David Graham. Studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The studio associate director is Jennifer Love. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. Executive producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gordon and David Hill. Paul Smith in motion on first down. Garcia under pressure, shovels it ahead to Terry Jackson. Fights his way down to the 8-yard line. Second-year man out of Florida, Terry Jackson. Don't forget tomorrow, big day on Fox. The Terry Awards on the pregame show. And then some great games. Playoff implication on those games and in the doubleheader games as well. Minnesota and Indianapolis, Carolina at Oakland.
And everybody here in Mile High and probably all of Colorado will be looking at that Oakland game, trying to figure out what's going to happen and if they're going to have another playoff game here.
The Carolina-Oakland game.
Yep.
Right. From the 8, Garcia rolling under pressure. Got away from Rieger. Touchdown to J.J. Stokes. 31st touchdown pass thrown by Jeff Garcia. J.J. Stokes on the reception, and the 49ers break through in the closing moments. For Jerry Rice, it looks like that's it. Unless they can come up with some miracle way of keeping him, he will play in another uniform next season. 38-year-old greatest wide receiver of all time. Wade Ritchie missed. He just kicked that ball.
That's been the kind of day it's been. That kick kind of tells it all for San Fran today.
Couple of more thanks. Our spotter all season, Gary Lynn, statistician in the booth. Emmett McGuire, great job. Ty Yohe on the Fox box. Mark Sosna, stats in the control truck. And today, Nate Leaf was our stage manager. For all of us on the Fox crew, for Bill Boss and myself, this is our last game of the season. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great season, Billy.
It's been outstanding, you know.
And we just encourage everyone to enjoy the playoffs. They're going to be great.
Well, the way this season has ended and all the teams that are still alive for a playoff spot, the playoffs should be just as interesting.
Fox Sports will have a wild card playoff game a week from tomorrow. And of course, don't forget Fox doubleheader Sunday tomorrow with a lot of games with a lot of meaning. Seconds to go for Steve Mariucci. His team goes 6-10 and will continue the rebuilding process. For Jerry Rice, thinking about 16 years as a 49er. So many great moments and championships. And it's all winding down here.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all that after June 1st and salary cap constraints that all the other teams have, if Jerry Rice doesn't this offseason take into consideration what's out there and stay in San Francisco and renegotiate that deal he has. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'd love to see it. It'd be nice if they could find a way. Onside kick. Ball bouncing around loose. And the Broncos have recovered. Jerry Rice, 1,281 career receptions, 19,247 career yards, 12 Pro Bowls, 3 Super Bowl championships, 33 NFL records. Just wonderful watching him play. What a marvelous career as a 49er. For the Denver Broncos, they will roll into the playoffs off a big win. It could be next week at Baltimore, but if Oakland is beaten, it could be home here at Mile High. The flash bulbs are popping around Mile High as the regular season has come to an end.
Look at that. That's awesome.
The final regular season game has been played at Mile High Stadium and put another memory in the memory bank as the Broncos win it 38-9.
Absolutely no question, Sam, that this was all Broncos from the time they kicked the ball off. Greasy went down, Farrat got going, and they couldn't stop him. That defense stepped up, and nothing San Francisco tried to do today could go right for them. It was just Murphy's Law. You come in here, and I said it before, you just don't mess with tradition. And there was a lot of tradition here tonight. And a lot of that magic was stored up in the fans in the stands.
The stadium rocked as the Broncos went wild. Romanowski helped lead them to a 38-9 win. Farrat going deep for McCaffrey. What a grab. Touchdown! What a grab.
What a way to say goodbye to Mile High Stadium. It was all Broncos in a rout today over the San Francisco 49ers.
And you are looking at a live picture from Sky Fox, where fans are clearing out from Mile High Stadium after the last regular season game that will ever be played there. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Zappolo.
And I'm Phil Keating. A night of celebration begins right now after a day filled with emotion at Mile High Stadium in what could be and most probably will be the last game ever played there.
And today also marked the return of starting quarterback Brian Greasy after he had missed the last several games with a separated shoulder. Fox 31 Sports Director David Treadwell is live at Mile High Stadium. David, unfortunately, it was just a cameo appearance by Greasy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ron. It is unfortunate. But let's talk about the defense first. As we do this live shot here in an electric atmosphere, pandemonium's breaking out as the celebration for Mile High Stadium. But the defense really stepped up and did what they needed to do because they needed to get their confidence back as well when they head into the playoffs. But Brian Greasy, back to him. He had a tough day. The one hit he couldn't take is if a guy sacked him and landed on the shoulder. They called it a jam shoulder. He didn't do any further damage. He could have returned, but they didn't want to risk any further damage if he was hit again. He did come back in for one play when Gus Farrat had to go out. So Brian Greasy comes in. What does he do? He hands off on a draw, and Karan Coleman, he scores. And what a great run by him. But it was an all-around performance, both offensively and defensively. It was a fantastic day here at Mile High Stadium. What a way to go out. Ty, back to you.
Well, David, it was also a game that the Broncos needed to have at least a shot at winning the AFC West. More importantly, Denver needed to gain some momentum heading into the playoffs, but it did start off on a tough note for Denver. Boy, did it ever. Brian, hello.
Hi. Hi there.
Hi, guys.
You're back on.
I'm back on. Anyway, it started off on a very tough note for Denver as Brian Greasy, as David mentioned earlier, went down. We'll have these highlights later, but it did start off on a tough note as Greasy goes down. But Gus Farrat comes in, and Ron and Phil, they don't miss a beat. And the defense stepped up big as well.
You know, it really seemed to me like it really helped the Broncos to lose so badly last week to really get refocused on the upcoming playoffs.
Absolutely. I think their confidence has to be back.
Phil, as you can see now, the Bronco players are coming back from out of their locker room, back onto the field as, of course, the celebration continues in what will probably be the final event and the final football game ever played at Mile High Stadium. The only way there would be another football game is if the Carolina Panthers upset Oakland tomorrow. And you can see Ed McCaffrey coming out, Byron Chamberlain, Dwayne Carswell, all the Bronco veterans coming back on the field, Bill Romanowski. None of the 75,000 have left. There is Mike Anderson, who had such a brilliant rookie season, filling in for both Terrell Davis and Alandis Gary. 75,000 there. And I think the players are honoring the fans, and maybe the fans are honoring the players. It's that kind of situation as they are taking victory laps around the stadium to celebrate 40 years of football at Mile High Stadium.
Just about every fan there brought their disposable cameras with them. flashbulbs going off all around the stadium. This really seems to be a really nice thank you and payback to all of those season ticket holders who have been with the Broncos year after year.
Well, it's one of the great venues, Phil, in all of sports. And I was really privileged to spend 23 years traveling with the Broncos, and I watched games out of every NFL stadium, and there is not a better place to watch a pro football game on a Sunday afternoon in Mile High Stadium as you see Glenn Cadrez high-fiving as many people as we can. Let's go down to the field now on the sidelines and David Treadwell. David, what's it feel like down there?
Ron, it's absolutely electric. I got chills running up and down my spine. It was really a great moment when the players filed back out of the locker room. Some of them took their shoulder pads off. Some of them just left them on and came out. They're walking around the stands as you were describing. A lot of the guys high-fiving the fans. We Our Family is playing in the background because it really is a family. It's been a family tradition here. Part of the reason the Broncos have had the success they've had is because of the great fans here in Denver, because this stadium is so close to the field. It's always been kind of an intimate relationship. There's no coincidence why they've had such dominance here at home in Mile High Stadium. And guys, this is a great place to be right now.
Hey, David, you know, we watch the game on TV, and it doesn't really do it justice when you talk about the emotion. What was it like on the sidelines today with so many former Broncos there, packed house? Was it more emotional than you've ever seen it there?
Yeah, I think it was very emotional for a lot of the players as they were in the locker room because Tom Jackson came by. He went through the locker room during pregame. John Elway went through the locker room through pregame. A lot of hugging going on. Guys were very emotional. And then to have all the alumni, the famous alumni here in town watching the game, being a part of it, and not just up in the stands. They were down on the sideline participating as well. Guys were reminiscing, telling stories, and thinking back to their glory days when they were on the field. And it really is a great legacy that Mile High Stadium will have here.
Well, this takes me right back to after the Super Bowl win, the big party at Mile High Stadium, and then the big Monday night tribute to John Elway the following season when the crowd was just loud, boisterous, and having an enormously fantastic time honoring their favorite team. And here, the players going around the stadium, high-fiving the fans. No one left early today on this final day, most likely, of football at Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, I think, Phil, this is really one of the great moments. You know, when you think back to all the great things that happened in this stadium, all the years where the Broncos struggled early, could never make the playoffs. Finally, Red Miller came in 1977, and that tremendous year we'll never forget when they won their first 6 games and got into the playoffs, beat Pittsburgh, and then beat the Raiders. And just a phenomenal year, and the emotion of that year when on New Year's Day 1978, they beat the Raiders 20-17, and the fans came down onto the field. And, you know, you think all the great games and the great Elway comebacks and the Orange Crush defense, and you remember Elway taking that victory lap a couple years ago. But to see this right now, to see these younger Broncos, maybe who haven't been around that long, you know, some of the guys who've only been here 3 or 4 years, they have an understanding of what a special venue they were privileged to play in. And they know it, and they feel it. And I think what you're seeing here is something we don't see enough of today in sports, honest to goodness emotion. And I think the gap, and Ty and I talked about this earlier, Ty, the gap between fans and players today is greater than ever. There's a monetary gap. There's a gap where you just don't have a connection like you had 20, 30 years ago. And to see this, Ty, you can really see where these modern day millionaires, many of them, are connecting with the guys who will pay the salary, the guys in the seats.
And the one thing about the new Mile High, let's hope that it recaptures some of the old intimacy of the old Mile High. I think it was important to the Broncos' home field advantage, and it was certainly important for the fans to have contact with the players, and I think that's why the Broncos have such a special relationship with their fans, Ron.
Hey, David, if you can still hear me, one of the many things that makes this venue so special is the fact that unlike most places around the country, the fans are right on top of the field. The players only have to walk a few yards off the field to play to get to the fans, and I think that's what makes this connection right now so special.
I agree with you, Ron, because it is such an intimate atmosphere. The fans are right on top of you. Even on the sideline, when on my playing days, you could hear fans yelling down to you, encouraging you, and that was always fun. And that's why they feel like this is part of their team as well. This is their stadium, and that's why there's always been such a love affair. But what a great way to send Mile High Stadium out. 38-3, a thrashing of the 49ers. The offense gets it back on track. The defense gets back on track. Just what you needed to go into the playoffs.
Hey, David, in January of 1992, you were part of one of the great comebacks ever in that stadium. You had the ball on the 2-yard line. John Elway pulling off a fourth-quarter run for a first down, then a pass to Vance Johnson. You came on, made the clutch field goal of your life off a bad snap. Gary Kubiak got it down. When the fans exploded after that kick, as a player, what did it feel like in that stadium when 75,000 just wanted to hug you?
Ron, that's a great question because it's almost indescribable what it feels like. The electricity that's going through, the emotion, the excitement that you have in a situation like that. I think at that particular time, I was so busy congratulating my holder, Gary Kubiak, for getting the ball down. But to be remembered as one of the great comebacks as part of that, along with John Elway, and one of the great games played here at Mile High Stadium, it's very special for my name to be mentioned in that same breath.
You know, they're playing Sister Sledges and We Are Family there. And I think, as you mentioned earlier on, even if you just came out from out of town, had never been here before, and you walk over and see the scene right now, the electricity in the air, the players and the fans mingling and celebrating, it's an enormous party, and it certainly does give you a sensation that this really, right now, is a special moment, at least for all those 75,000 people.
David, what are they saying now? Is there an announcement in the stadium?
Yeah, they're announcing the stadium. They're going to have some fireworks. They want to clear the field. There's going to be a celebration. They've been asking the fans to stick around for the entire post game, and nobody left the stadium. I don't know if you heard today, but there were zero no-shows at this ball game. And why not? Considering what was at stake, the final game here at Mile High Stadium, more than likely, at least the final regular season game. They're going to have a few more ceremonies. The players are starting to head back in the locker room. I think we'll go back in there and try to get some interviews with some of the great players, but fans and viewers will want to stay around and watch the fireworks go off.